This is Talladega. Welcome to the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. And after a nice week off for 4th of July last Monday, we are ready to go for some exciting super speedway racing. We welcome you to the next round of Season 2 of the NASCAR Sim Racer Hub Truck Series from virtual Talladega. It's the ServPro 200. I'm Wesley Outland. We've got, of course, Jacob Reeves alongside. Our thoughts and prayers are with the continuing ailing health of William Tiller to get better. Hopefully, he'll be back with us in the booth next Monday night. Jacob, Talladega, you gotta love it. Super speedway racing, the unknowns, the common denominator, that is the wild card of any racing schedule, virtual or reality.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest and baddest places. And Wesley and everybody at home, I've had the pleasure of calling a lot of races here at this particular racetrack, and I've also had the pleasure of being in attendance at some of the real races, some of the real NASCAR races that has happened at this track. Give you a little heads up of what this track is for those of you that may have not seen this place. 2.66 miles, 5 lanes wide. You're going to see some serious pack racing. You're going to see everybody pushing, bumping, and doing everything they possibly can to try to get around that next car in front of them. Everybody going to be probably spanned out, I would say, between the first and the last car is going to be about 2 seconds. That's how close these guys are going to be. And Wesley, you talked about all the unknowns. It's the big one. It's the multi-car wreck that always ends up playing a factor here at these restrictor plate tracks. And Wesley, I hope we do not see that tonight, but this is Talladega. As you said, anything is possible, and I know all of these guys have that in the back of their minds thinking about that big one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I got a feeling here in tonight's ServPro 200 that we'll probably have a big race and a big wreck. No doubt about it. 3 stages, 200 miles, 100 laps around the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. We'll look at the points whenever the field's on the pace lap. The lineup is set for these drivers getting ready to go. Actually, I think we just lost time in scoring. I think we're trying to get it reset here. There we go. Let's give you the starting lineup here for tonight's ServPro 200. Kyle Hess will be on the pole in the Chevrolet number 86. To the outside, Taylor Peacock in the 81, row 1. Row 2 will find Jacob Klinkhardt in the 1, followed by Chris Blanchard in the Toyota number 9. Row 3, Jonathan Wiley in the 511, Tyler Dittmer in the 34 machine. Row 4 will find Curtis Rogers in the 65 of the 25 of Daytona pole winner, Tyler Daniels. And of course, that'll find Ed Osborne in the number 10 position as the field rolls for the pace laps, Jacob.
And then you're going to have, looks like it's going to be Steve Barnett going to be in that 11th spot. Brady LaBeouf, the boss man around here at the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, going to be on the outside of Barnett in that 12th spot. Ron Hunter, Robert Richards is going to be in the 14th spot. Jason Morale is going to be in the 15th spot. Jeffrey Johnson Jr. going to be in 16th. James Morris in the 17th spot. Looks like Chris Kine's going to be in the 18th spot. Justin B. White, one of those guys that actually put on a great show Friday night. If you was tuning in to the Clash at Auto Club, Justin White put on a great show right there at the end with Doucette. He's going to start out here tonight in the 19th spot, and Hunter Parsons going to round out the top 20.
Tim Hammond, Sean Hamilton, Huck Wigington, Lance Miller, Joey Doucette, Kerry Tribune, Jose Luis Rivera, Torrey Thompson, Derek Kilgore, and Adam Newbert. Those are your drivers that'll be starting. We got other names in the back of close to 43 trucks, but I don't know if they're going to be committed to running or not because they're not on track. We'll find out as the field is ready to come to the green flag. It'll be 3 stages. Stage number 1 will take us all the way to lap 25. Kyle Hess, Taylor Peacock on the front row. We're ready to go. This is Talladega, the next round of the Sim Racer Hub NASCAR Truck Series. Looking for the green inside the Geico restart zone for the official start. Green flag in the air, and we're underway. Speed picking up now. It'll take about a lap or so to get the full song as they power through the gearboxes. It's Hess and Peacock. They'll lead the cavalry through the pack, door to door on the pace lap, now at full song into turn number 2.
And Hess actually getting a very good push right now from Jacob Klinkhart in this bottom lane. Taylor Peacock, anybody that has seen any of the broadcasts that we have had knows that Taylor Peacock knows how to get around these super speedways, and here he comes up on the outside. Christopher Blanchard basically doing it all by himself up Peacock's tailgate, shoving him in that outside lane. Hess and Peacock door to door, all 4.
Working their way off the corner out of turn number 4. It's Peacock up on the outside lane. Kyle Hess on the bottom. The main driver, Chris Blanchard, gives him a shot. He tried to go 3 wide, stays to the outside. 1 lap in, 99 to go. Still a long way to go here at Talladega. Peacock up on the outside. Here comes now Klinkhart. He'll give a shot in the shorts to Hess on the bottom as they work their way again out of turn number 2.
Hess trying to keep it pinned down on the bottom. Peacock trying to pinch him down on the yellow line. 4 trucks all up top. One guy actually starting to sneak to the back. That is going to be one of these other guys that's in this right there. Robbie Richards, I'm able to see it now. He's going to make a very calculated move, try to jump to the back right here and try to save his truck for the end. But up front, Hess still keeping it on the bottom, holding those 4 trucks at bay up top.
Working off of that 4th turn, it's Peacock now up on the outside for the most part. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. Calm, cool, collective now as they roar through the tri-oval. Back to start finish here at Talladega. 2 laps in now. Peacock, the leader, he's on the bottom of the racetrack. Hess will follow in tow. Blanchard now makes the move on the outside. He'll carry Klinkhart and Wiley. Your top 5 is now, it's going to be Peacock single file on the bottom out of 2.
Peacock literally hung Blanchard out. Now Hess is going to drop all the way to the back. It's like he wants to try to save his truck for later on in this race. Up front, though, still is Taylor Peacock on the inside lane. But, boy, I'm telling you, when Hess actually dropped back right there, that give that outside lane a little bit of momentum. Now, Christopher Blanchard in the number 9 going to be up front.
Watching all of this work their way back again out of turn 4 through the Yellowwood Tri-Oval. Now back into turn number 4 through the Geico restart zone. Another lap on the board. Now making lap number 3 in the books. Stage 1 will go to lap 25. Stage 2 to lap 55. And then it's a 45-lap run to the checkered flag to lap 100. Overtime if necessary. Toyota Blanchard leads them on the lead spot on the bottom of the racetrack as they go off the back straightaway. Still a long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go, as Wesley said. Heart-pounding excitement right here. Just hold your breath for all of these guys. I mean, Blanchard still trying to keep it on the bottom. Peacock still trying to give him a shove. That outside lane starting to form up with a 5th truck up there. Looks like Torrey Thompson going to be way in the back. Try to see if he can keep these guys up there with him.
Another lap about to be completed as they roar their way back through the tri-oval. Back at start finish. Toyota Blanchard on the bottom of the racetrack. Couple of Toyotas, 1 and 2. Then you got a bow tie machine, a Peacock on the bottom in 3rd. Here comes now some slicing and dicing. 2 by 2 by 2. 4 rows deep as they work their way up the bottom of the racetrack. Peacock slips on the bottom. Lost ground on Blanchard. He'll reel him back in off of 2.
Peacock still keeping it very, very tucked up under Blanchard. Up top is Cody Sanderson giving Jonathan Wiley a huge shove on the outside lane. See if he can keep him right beside Taylor Peacock or maybe go even farther and try to challenge Blanchard. But I'm telling you, Sanderson all up into Wiley's back bumper.
The ServPro 200 underway, now coming up on a handful of laps as they work their way off of turn 4. A little bit of organization here, just a little bit for just a second inside row number 3 between Wiley, Parsons, and Sanderson. Then they fan right back out, gleaming off the virtual sun, off the banking, climbing for turn number 2, back down the straightaway here at Superspeedway at Talladega. Blanchard now on the bottom. Here comes a new man looking for the lead. It's Klinkhart on the outside as they go to 3.
And they are swapping it back and forth. Just a couple of laps ago, only 3 trucks up in that top lane. Now it looks of upwards of 10 trucks now trying to see if they can find a way to try to get closer to this front. Stage points will be very, very heavily on these guys' minds coming to that stage break. Blanchard still trying to hold them off on the bottom as they are going to complete lap number 6, going to lap number 7 as they go into turn number 1.
Back off into the corner into turn number 1 and 2. Blanchard still staying down to the inside of the racetrack. Peacock now wants to try to make something getting going here. Look like we got some other action going on in the back of the pack inside the top 10. That's Rogers. There's Sanderson and Wiley all in this mix battling with one another. Meanwhile, back to the leaders as they end the back straightaway. Bottom of the racetrack into turn number 3. It's Blanchard on the bottom. Here comes Clinkhart up on the top shelf. Peacock thought about breaking out of line. He's hung out the drive-by. Wiley, who's up to 3rd as they work out of 4.
And Blanchard still trying to keep it on the bottom. Clinkhart really wanting to get this lead right here and be able to get himself in prime position to get down on the bottom, but Peacock will not have any of it. All up into the back of Christopher Blanchard. I mean, if we had a nose cam on Taylor Peacock, he could see up under the chassis of Blanchard. That's how close he was, pushing him down the front stretch. Blanchard still up front. Now Peacock's going to get clear. We'll see if he goes for the lead off of 2.
Adam Fleeger doing a phenomenal job on the broadcast production for NASRA. Inside the cockpit now, the Chevrolet of Taylor Peacock. You're riding on board with the 2nd place driver. In front of him is Blanchard. Blanchard now on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Jonathan Wiley. Oklahoma's where he's from. And Wiley now falling back. It looks like he got knocked out of the draft, and he is sliding away as Parsons make a move on the outside out of turn 4. Here comes the Cheesehead looking for the lead in the trial.
He's got help from Tyler Dittmer in the number 34 Toyota, trying to get Parsons up here, see if anybody can challenge Christopher Blanchard and Taylor Peacock for this front row. It is Blanchard up, on the bottom. Hunter Parsons up top. Dittmer going to give him a huge shove right here as they come off of turn number 2. See if they can get something working down here. They got Jacob Clinkhart right behind them. A lot of very hard racing right here, very early in this race, Wesley.
Parsons is the leader, but the question is for how long. He's got, obviously, Taylor Peacock knocking on the back of his tailgate. Right behind him is also the drivers of Rogers, Morris, Osborne, Superspeedway, completely different animal than maybe what we saw at Michigan 2 weeks ago, or Martinsville, obviously, next week. You go from a Superspeedway to a short track, no doubt about it. From an intermediate track, you've got to drive these tracks differently. We're seeing that as Blanchard still leads them off the corner.
But Parsons still trying to keep in tow up top. You see all the help that he has. Everybody trying to see if they can figure out which lane they want to go. Do they want to go with Blanchard? Do they want to go with Hunter Parsons? Whichever lane is going to be where they want to go. Now Hunter Parsons actually cleared down to the bottom. We'll see if he hangs Dittmer out. He will not. He will stay up there with Tyler Dittmer. He will stay up there with Jacob Clinkhart as they come off 4.
Getting ready to put 10 laps on the board. 15 laps to go here in stage number 1 as they come back roaring to the start-finish line. They'll funnel back out 2 by 2. Do-si-do up the banking into Talladega's banks into 1 and 2. A little unorganized the moment by Peacock. He thought about going to the outside. Jumped out of line with his wingman Blanchard. Blanchard got a little wiggle there for a second. Got the air loose on the Peacock machine, and somehow they save it. Working off the back straightaway. Parsons and Dittmer up to the battle for the lead on the back stretch going to 3.
And it seems like this outside lane gets the jump off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and then the inside lane just seems like they just funnel back in turn 3 and 4 and take it right back. That's what it's looking like from here. Blanchard's still going to have the lead. Peacock in tow. Here comes Parsons right off of turn number 4. You see these runs. These guys are getting off of these corners, especially with guys up top like Hunter Parsons and Tyler Dittmer getting these huge runs. You're going to see it right here. Blanchard will eventually try to close in and try to pull away, and then Hunter Parsons is going to get it right back. Great battle by these guys up front as we are coming to halfway in this stage.
Well, about the first 2 or 3 rows, Jacob Reeves are 2 by 2, but not for long. The 3 wide train is about to get underway. Some guys the hot dogs in the middle. Here comes now all of these drivers. Started off in the man in the middle, the 28, Ed Osborne. Some other drivers, including Barrett. All of them trying to climb up. Now they're getting 2, 3, 4 wide. Meanwhile, the leaders are still 2 by 2, door to door as they work their way through the tribal back out of turn 4.
And that up top lane is led by Jacob Klinkhart in the 1 truck, still trying to get these guys to try to get something going. Only 3 of them up top. He's going to have to see if he can get some more help and be able to try to get something working if they want to make that top lane work. But right now, Blanchard still has it on the bottom. Peacock still right in his tire tracks. Hunter Parsons, Tyler Dittmer, they are literally doing the same thing every single lap. But Parsons, when he does get clear of Blanchard, he will not hang Tyler Dittmer out. And Parsons will not go to the bottom. Big time battle as these guys swapping the lead back and forth every single lap.
The ServPro 200 halfway now in stage number 1, 12 laps to go. 3 wide now up in the front of the pack. This happened really quicker than I thought it was going to be, and they're also getting a little loose in the middle. Here comes Peacock now down to the inside. He leads the cavalry. Correction, Blanchard does. Peacock thought about going for the lead. He couldn't get it done, and they're 3 wide into 1.
And Parsons is actually going to be the one stuck in the middle. Will have a little bit of help. Dittmer actually had enough of pushing Parsons. He's going to jump right up in front of Adam Newbert, who was the season champion last season, if I'm not mistaken. Newbert trying to make his presence known here at Talladega, showing them how that he can do on these super speedways. Dittmer is going to be clear of Parsons. Newbert is not. Newbert's still 3 wide. Got Dittmer in the middle. Wow, a lot of hard racing right here with this outside lane starting to prevail, much like the middle lane was earlier on in this race.
You know, Jacob, I call Tyler Dittmer our Parker Kligerman of NASRA. The man was one of the greats in the broadcast booth. Matter of fact, he was lead anchor for season 1 of the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series, and now his talents are showing on the track. 10 laps to go when they come back to the line in stage 1. It's Blanchard the leader. Newbert, the champion of last year, as you said, his Toyota first swim moves up to the outside. He got a punt there from Peacock and Chew. Kilgore's to the top 5. There they are, 2 by 2, 3 rows deep as they roar to 3.
And he absolutely just hung out Tyler Dittmer. Dittmer was trying to go with him. Newbert had none of it, had enough of pushing him. Right now, you need to be finding your friends, especially early in this race, and find somebody that you can trust to be able to push you to the front. And Newbert has that right now with him. Brian Chew right behind him. Blanchard and Peacock have actually stuck together big time right here, not leaving one another. They really can't leave each other because they can't go high because everybody's trying to see if they can make a run to try to get around them. Newbert, Blanchard coming off of turn 2.
It's going to be Newbert up on the outside lane. Again, clears away from the sunlight. Here comes now Kilgore. He thought about jumping out of line, but he is hooked back up with the DSR electric Toyota of Brian Chew. Hung up on the outside, down to the inside. Blanchard, Peacock, now Rogers. They're all in tow as they work the banking. 5, 6 rows, 2 by 2 at Talladega, closing in on 10 to go in stage 1.
Very hard racing. All these guys trying to get the stage points that they need coming to this stage break. Newbert trying to get this top lane working. Brian Chew still trying to help him out. Looks like a sum of about 10 to 11 trucks on that outside lane. Got a lot of momentum. Here comes Newbert. He's going to get the run. Brian Chew right up his back bumper. Peacock literally shoving Christopher Blanchard. Got him a little bit sideways right in the middle of 1 and 2. Peacock really does not want this outside lane to form up and get around these guys.
There's some of the last lap speeds, fastest lap of the race so far. Brian Chew in the DSR electric Toyota in third, 50.348 seconds. Closing in now on 8 laps to go in stage 1 so far. Everybody clean and green. It's Blanchard holding them off, but stage points up for grabs soon as they work the back straight away. Here goes a shot by Peacock. Correction, Peacock to the bottom of the racetrack. He got a nice shot there a moment ago by Newbert. Newbert had to back off. He'll stay to the outside lane. He'll now power along Blanchard as they work back the banking into turn 1.
Newbert may have got a little bit loose. That's why he came down into Peacock, got him a little bit sideways. Brian Chew
Nice
might
save.
actually got into the back of him and kind of knocked him a little bit sideways, but they keep it together. Big time move right there by Adam Newbert, and great save by Taylor Peacock, keeping it in tow and not causing a huge wreck right here at the early part of this stage. But it is all Blanchard and Newbert still battling it out up front. Peacock and Brian Chew still trying to push one another all the way to the front.
At speed, here they come off turn number 4. Remember, you got to go all the way through the triangle here at the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway to reach start finish line. They just come back through the Geico restart zone, and now it's going to be Newbert to the outside. He's your new leader. A couple of Toyotas, 3 of them battle for the lead as we work 6 to go in stage 1.
And that inside lane looking very disorganized right now. Peacock does not have the guy behind him giving him a good shove to be able to counteract what this outside lane is doing. Brian Chew all up into the back of Adam Newbert. We'll see if Newbert hangs him out and jumps down to the bottom. He will not. He will be very contested to stay up there with Brian Chew. Blanchard's going to fire back on the bottom. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back. Everyone trying to see if they can keep it straight right here off of turn number 4 as we're going to come to 6 laps to go in this stage.
I was just thinking, Jacob, at HLR, Highline Racing, they have got to be very excited and happy right now. That one time they had 4 of their trucks right there in the top 5, top 10 of one another, and they are right there in the cat's whisker. What a job for HLR. Meanwhile, as you said, 6 laps to go. Open hand when they come to the line. This race going by fairly quickly. It's Newbert, it's Blanchard. They've been some of the drivers that have led the way. Now the defending champion powers to the outside. He'll put his Toyota number 4 for Swim on the top of the racetrack and lead him into 3.
And he thought about going low, but he stayed up high to go with Brian Chew to keep him up there. Brian Chew may actually try to look and try to hang Newbert out. Looked like he was trying to go to the outside just a little bit, or maybe not. Going to stay right in tow. Blanchard still leads, but just by a fender coming to the line. Peacock literally doing it all by himself with no help behind him. Nobody right up behind him to be able to give that push to Blanchard. Blanchard keeping it on the bottom. Newbert still up top with Brian Chew, and Taylor Peacock showing us why he is good at these super speedways, shoving Blanchard down the backstretch.
Man, no doubt about it, doing a phenomenal job, as you just mentioned. Definitely continuing, even though they shove them down the back straightaway, continuing to mind their P's and Q's. A lot of respect being given to a lot of these drivers right now as the laps are winding down here in stage number 1. Right now, it's Blanchard and Newbert. They flip-flop with one another. The number 9 is, of course, the driver, Chris Blanchard. The over-the-top designs entry for Highline Racing. And then you've got Swim, Adam Newbert through the triangle to the line. 4 to go. Peacock jumps out of line. Here comes Chew. Kilgore. They're looking for points. They're looking to chop them up in the playoffs as they climb the bank and again into turn 1.
And I do not see this 2 by 2 by 2 sticking very long, Wesley. Everybody going to be trying to get those stage points, knowing that there's teammates up there. They got to race for themselves. They got to be able to get the points for themselves. They're racing, obviously, with teams, but they still got to be able to race for themselves and get the points that they need. Newbert getting that huge shove right there by Brian Chew, still not going to hang him out and not drop to that bottom lane. Blanchard going to get the run off of turn number 4. Dead heat race going into the tri-oval. Wesley, you talked about it. The start-finish line not at the tri-oval like it is at the sister track of Daytona. Right there, you see the start-finish line. That's what these guys will be racing to right here within the next 75 laps. Going for the win. Got 3 laps to go in the stage. Blanchard still on the bottom, fighting off Newbert.
Don't count out now Newbert. He's got some help. A new man up there in the likes of Brian Chew. Derek Kilgore is also up in that battle. The 51 of Brian Chew for Swim. That's a teammate for, of course, obviously, Adam Newbert on the outside. You think of Derek Kilgore. He's just along for the ride for Swim as well. There comes Team Swim on the outside, making a run on Blanchard for Highline Racing. They work to the line. It's 2 to go this time by in stage 1.
Like I said, I mean, granted, you got your teammates, but you've got to get the points for yourself. Peacock not worried about anything, but just all up into the back of Christopher Blanchard, shoved him literally across the line, literally shoved him through the tri-oval, as the pit road entry has been closed by race control. So nobody's gonna pit right here. Everything all on the marbles right here for stage number 1. Here comes Newbert, gonna get a shot from Brian Chu up top.
Back off into the corner. It's all for the marbles now. 2 laps to go. Newbert up the outside as they work the end of the back straightaway into turn 3. Chu gives him a shot in the shorts. Swim on the outside. High lane racing to the bottom. The 81 of Peacock now trying to help out. Of course, Misfits Motorsports, Chris Blanchard. They come storming through the tri-oval. It's 1 to go in stage 1. Anybody up for grabs in the points? Blanchard's got to hold on tight. Newbert one more time on the outside.
You may see some movement on that 3rd lane from some of these guys try to get up here and sneak up here and grab some stage points. But up front, Newbert actually got a little loose going into turn number 1 with Brian Chu straight up his tailgate. Blanchard on the bottom with Peacock. Peacock shoving him. Both of them dead horse race. Peacock shoving Blanchard and Chu shoving Newbert. Big time shove. We'll see if Newbert gets clear of Blanchard and see if he jumps down. Yes, he will. And he's going to get turned off in turn number 3.
Oh, no.
And the caution will come out.
Coming down to the line, last lap, and calamity. You see Bullock caught up in it. Newbert obviously involved. Other drivers involved coming to the end of stage 1. Brian Chu looks like he's going to be the winner of stage number 1 here in the ServPro 200. Chaos and mayhem on the last lap in turn 3, Jacob.
Yeah, and it was all right there with Adam Newbert trying to jump down to that bottom lane, try to cut off that advance from Christopher Blanchard. And we talked about him, you know, Newbert tried to stay committed to his teammates and try to keep that top lane working. And then finally, he just said he had enough of it to try to block that advance on the bottom. Was not clear enough. Blanchard was there. And you see this great save right here by Adam Newbert not to slide it back up in front of the field.
What about Blanchard? Man, what
all
Blanchard
the way on
did.
the bottom. Wow, I mean, just great save, but then some of these guys just come
Ron Hunter.
piling in.
There's Ron Hunter. There's Bullock. Again, nowhere to go. You know, Jacob, it's the victim of circumstance. It's not even your fault. You're in the back, and then all hell breaks loose, and you're just along for the ride there.
Yeah, and these guys back here, most of these guys back here in the back trying to miss what exactly
James
happened.
Morse.
I mean, that's what a lot of guys are doing in the back to miss these wrecks. But with so much going on, Wesley, it is very hard to miss these wrecks, especially when it just comes straight up in front of you. You can be riding on board with James Morris right here, and you see everything just happen right in front of him. May have got a little bit of front end damage. Doesn't look like he's going to be hurt that bad. May be able to get that fixed. Remember, no fast repairs in this league here. So, I mean, very, very unfortunate to see that happen. But Wesley, we saw it coming. I mean, we knew that this right here was going to happen with these guys making these daring moves for these stage points.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen several times, no doubt, throughout the years past and races past, and another end result of what just took place. Let's grab a word now with the driver of the 51. Probably going to be one of his first stage wins for Swim, the 51, Brian Chu, winner of stage number 1. As, of course, we're still kind of looking at what the aftermath is of the accident. Stage 1 winner, Brian Chu. Brian, I know you got to be excited, man, getting them stage points.
Yeah, I was just telling Newbert there, coming to the 1 to go, the same thing at Daytona for me. I said, let's win the stage and not wreck like we did at Daytona, or where I did at Daytona. So I was close to winning that stage at Daytona. Got this one, unfortunately, Adam got caught up in there. I thought he was clear. I just don't know if they checked up, but I didn't see. Once he went down, I was just focused on the front windshield. So, yeah, it sucks for Adam. Hopefully he's not too damaged. But, yeah, definitely excited to get this stage win.
Jacob Reeves.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, I mean, just awesome run right there. I mean, just tell us some. We talk about these stage points all the time and talk about what it's gonna, with all the hard racing. But with Talladega, it means more with these stage points. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
We have a good enough team to get up there. I mean, we started back in like 36, something like that, me and Adam, and Derek, we just kind of went through the field and got up there. So if you have teammates and can push through, and a lot of guys drop back. So when all those guys drop back, you kind of get pushed forward, and then you're kind of forced to race. But I think stage points is very important. In the playoffs last season, I had like hardly any stage points, and it ended up costing me in the playoffs. So if to get a stage win and get some bonus points there, it's definitely very important as the season comes down to an end there.
Jacob, we'll let you go. Final question, though, man. Do you feel like this is just the calm before the storm? Everybody minded their P's and Q's until that last lap of stage 1. Do you think we'll see the same thing here in stage 2 for the ServPro 200?
You know what? I think I'm a little surprised they didn't take it a little bit more 3 wide there. So I think as laps go and the later it gets, it's what's going to hit the fan. So just when and where, I just got to be ready for it.
All right, buddy, we'll let you go. Thank you so much, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the ServPro 200 Stage 1 winner for Swim. Sick with it Motorsports. Again, Adam Newbert with his problems, but Brian Chu getting it done here in stage number 1 as we're getting ready to wrap up a ServPro caution. Fire and water cleanup and restoration. ServPro, official caution sponsor of NASRA and the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series, and tonight's ServPro 200. Jacob Reeves, I'm Wesley Outland, and we have got guys getting ready for the restart. Jacob, we're ready to see what stage 2 will entail. This will go to lap 55.
And it will probably, well, the intensity is obviously going to ramp up, obviously, Wesley. And, going back to what Brian was saying right there about he was surprised, that there wasn't a lot of 3 wide racing. I mean, I really wasn't. I mean, these guys know that they've got a long race ahead of them. It was lap 25 coming to that stage. You still got 100 laps left with the race. So I didn't really expect to see any 3 wide racing. I didn't really, well, I mean, I kind of was actually waiting on Newbert to jump down and get in front of Blanchard right there, but I wasn't expecting it to happen the way that it happened. But I mean, I didn't see, or I wasn't really thinking, any 3 wide action was going to happen, especially right there in stage 1. But everybody better be tuning in right here, because this right here is when the 3 wide action is going to happen.
Yeah, it's about to get wild and hairy, no doubt about it. That, again, wraps up a ServPro caution. Field is working their way back into the Geico restart zone through the Yellowwood front straightaway. On the turf, they're 2x2. Peacock and Blanchard alongside one another, ready to bring the field back to Barney, the iRacing flagman. Green flag goes back in the air, and we're ready to go now in stage number 2. Again, this will be another 30-lap stage. It'll take us all the way to lap 55. And then 45 laps in stage 3 to the checkered flag. It's Peacock on the jump. Same old song and dance as the start of the race earlier. He'll do the same thing as they work the green in stage 2.
And Blanchard going to get the run up top. Tyler Detmer going to be right behind him in tow. Derek Kilgore going to be one of those guys that's going to be pushing Taylor Peacock on this bottom lane. Peacock might actually try to let Blanchard down in front of him and try to do the same thing that they did for about the first 24 3/4 of a lap in the first stage, but not this time. Peacock wants to lead a little bit here. Blanchard still wants some of it. Detmer all up in the back of Blanchard's tailgate. Kilgore still trying to get it going on this inside lane. About 6, 7, now 8 trucks up top. We'll see if they can get some momentum going as Blanchard's now starting to pull away on the outside.
Working their way back up the bank and into turn number 1 and 2. Now Blanchard has got brave enough to muster the momentum, if you will, Jacob, to hit the outside lane instead of the bottom and catfish. Meanwhile, here comes Tyler Detmer. He's right up under the back end of the machine of the 9. Parsons is there. 1, 2, and 3. Peacock falls back to 4th. Rogers up 3 spots to 5th. Behind the top 4, they are 2x2 dosing going off the banking.
And single file for the first 4 trucks, and now make it 5 trucks as Derek Kilgore actually is going to be able to clear this outside lane, or will he? He will not. Now it's going to be side by side. Kilgore and Rogers going to be battling it out for the 5th spot. Peacock may try to look outside. No, he will not. Rogers had none of it. Going to almost hang him out. Peacock able to jump down back in front of Derek Kilgore. And look at this. Kerry Tribute all the way from 26th all the way up to 7th on the outside lane, shoving Rogers up on this top lane. he may be wanting to see if he can get up here and put Rogers up front and maybe put himself in second place.
Working off the corner, now off the banking out of turn number 3, coming back down to start finish off 4. Blanchard now onto the inside. Look at this now. Curtis Rogers has now stuck his nose in the bottle for the lead for the first time tonight. Up 6 spots. Dittmer now falling back to 3rd. Now also Gary Tribune. New names up in the mix, including also Adam Cantwell. How about Jason Morales? Derek Kilgore, Jonathan Wiley now falling back in your top 10 as they work out of 2.
And big moves, a little bit of sliding around back here behind Cantwell. Some of these guys trying to make some kind of moves and try to see if they can figure something out. But right now, Rogers still got it up front, getting all the shove that he can from Tribune. Blanchard still down on the bottom. Dittmer now giving him a great shove by Hunter Parsons right behind him. All of this battling going on. Most of the line, or excuse me, most of the help is on the bottom lane. But I'm telling you right now, Wesley, that outside lane is starting to gain momentum, starting to gain trucks. As you see it on your screen, a bunch of these guys trying to jump up here and get as much momentum as they can on the outside. Blanchard and Dittmer might be in some trouble if a lot of help gets up there.
So let's give a run now as Blanchard just shot up the racetrack on the outside lane. It's now Tyler Dittmer on the bottom. He'll be the new leader. Blanchard to 2nd, Parsons 3rd, Rogers 4th, Peacock your top 5. Gary Tribune is 6th, up 20 spots. Up 23 spots is Derek Kilgore. Up 25 spots is now, up 31 spots, Brian Chu. Adam Cantwell up 24. Jose Luis Rivera up 17 spots. He's in your top 10. And boy, oh boy, hung out to dry in the middle is Peacock. He's got to make something happen. He's got to get back in line. He's going to power back to the lead in front of Blanchard as they go to 1.
Peacock trying to get back up there with Blanchard. Both of these guys worked very good together in that very first stage. Outside lane starting to back up a little bit. Now Tyler Dittmer, Hunter Parsons, really making this bottom lane work with Derek Kilgore in tow. Peacock trying to drag this outside lane, get it back up here where Dittmer is. Blanchard doing all he can to try to shove Peacock back up there. A lot of hard racing. You're going to see Peacock and Blanchard probably sidetrack these guys on the bottom and try to pull themselves back up to them. You see it right there. Very little. They don't have to be right on their door. They can come down just that little bit and slow that inside lane down. And that's exactly what has happened right here. Peacock actually wanting to go to the bottom. Now Blanchard's actually going to get stuck up top. Blanchard's going to the back.
It is Dittmer, the leader. Parsons now up on the outside. Peacock will follow. These drivers work their way up the racetrack, and oh my goodness, Jonathan Wiley is slip sliding away. He is falling back, and so is possibly the 9 of Blanchard. Those drivers losing ground. Meanwhile, new leader Hunter Parsons down the back straightaway as they go to turn 3 and 20 to go in stage 2.
Parsons still trying to push Dittmer, Kilgore right behind him. Peacock still trying to get this top lane working and try to get it going. But Brian Chu, we talked about him a while ago. We talked to him just a second ago. He was the winner of the first stage, trying to keep himself up front, not having to worry about where Adam Newbert was, his teammate. He's trying to find any friend that he can at this point. But Peacock still trying to get this top lane working with Rogers and Tribune. Dittmer still rolling on the bottom with Parsons in tow. Kilgore still trying to give the shot. Peacock better get all of that outside lane. They better get that outside lane organized. This inside lane may start trying to gap from that outside lane. That outside lane may be starting to slide back.
Want to give a big hello to Anthony and Tanya Goodyear at the New River All-American Speedway NASCAR sanctioned track, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Enjoyed hanging out with them at my home track where I started my pavement announcing career close to 23 years ago, last Monday night for July 3rd racing. And then, of course, they still have their summer speed weeks going on. Thanks for checking out iRacing. Nothing's changed, though, now in the last couple of laps. It's Tyler Dittmer. A couple of Toyotas are 1 through 4. Then you've got 6 Chevrolets, if you will, Jacob Reeves in the top 10 as they work out of 2 on lap 33.
And Brian Chu was on the bottom. Now he is up top, getting a huge shove right here from Taylor Peacock. Chu knows how to get it done. Obviously, stage 1 winner. We'll see if he jumps down in front of Dittmer, stays up here with Taylor Peacock. But right now, Brian Chu showing him how to do it. His 51 entry. Big time moves right here by Brian Chu. Started this race in 39th, up here battling for the lead. And Wesley, we see this. I mean, this is normal to see this here at Talladega Superspeedway. Guys that get to the back of the field or start in the back of the field, being able to make moves like this to be able to get up front. Something you don't see out of Michigan or even Martinsville that you see next week. This is the place right here where moves can be made and you can go from the back to the front really quick, or like Blanchard just a second ago, you can go from the front to the back very quickly.
How about Brian Chu, winner of stage 1, methodically, patiently climbing back up to get into stage number 2. He's in the lead behind him, though 3 wide. Dittmer, Peacock, Parsons. I thought they were going to bounce off the safer barrier. They hold it together. It's like a pyramid. 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3 to 4 as they work out of 4.
And Clinkhart trying to get this top lane working the best he possibly can get it to go. James Morris up here with him. And check this out. Adam Newbert, one of those guys that got caught up in that accident trying to go for the stage 1 win, has now found himself up here battling inside the top 10. He's running in the middle lane right in front of Cantwell. So Newbert may have had a little bit of damage from that earlier accident, but he is not out of this just yet. I mean, he wasn't the season champion from last season for nothing. That Ford truck has got a lot of horsepower in it. Look for Newbert to start making some moves right here at the end of this stage and try to get those points back.
Got to make those moves and got to make them in a hurry. Trucks pilling down to the bottom of the racetrack, some back marker trucks. Meanwhile, look at now Peacock from the outside, from the inside, back to the middle lane. Can't roll down with Brian Chu, though. By the way, Brian Chu still fastest man on the racetrack. 53.48, fastest lap of the race. Right now, he leads them back into turn number 1 and 2. We're closing in on 15 to go next time by in second stage.
Peacock still trying to get this top lane working. Hunter Parsons doing all he can to try to drag this outside lane up. Right now, it's Brian Chu up in the front. Peacock now going to take a shot to the outside. Gets Hunter Parsons to be able to shove him up here in this outside lane. Dittmer tried to get Brian Chu going. And check this out. We haven't talked about this driver all race. Joey Doucette all the way up here in the top 10. Watch out for Doucette to be able to make something happen here tonight. Started in 25th all the way up here inside the top 10. Currently 8th as they go across the stripe. So Doucette, watch out for him. Make some moves, but up front, it is still hard-nosed battle. Peacock still trying to side draft that inside lane and see if he can jump down in front of Brian Chu.
By the way, speaking of Joey Doucette, up 16 spots, now make it 17 as he climbs to the number 8 position. There you saw just a glimpse of his truck just a moment ago. Down to the bottom of the racetrack, normally known for the purple truck. That's where the nickname the Joker came from, if you remember the race at Nashville that we'll never forget. Right now, he sits in 8th. Brian Chu leads the cavalry and the green truck. That's the forest green DSR electric Toyota. Down to the bottom of the racetrack. Chevrolet Taylor Peacock, though, back on the outside. He'll go to the lead as they work to the tri-oval. And to turn number 4 right now. 15 to go in stage 2.
And outside lane looks very, very formed up. A lot of them on the bottom checked up right there off of turn number 4. Some of the guys up front getting into other guys, and that stacked the whole inside lane up. That gave Taylor Peacock the advantage to be able to lead that lap. But now the bottom lane, it's going to start to prevail. Brian Chu back to the front. Tyler Dittmer getting shoved from Derek Kilgore. Inside lane starting to prevail now as the outside looks like it's getting deformed as they're looking 3 wide back here behind Adam Newton.
And they're starting to climb the banking up near the safer barrier. Look at those trucks up there way, way on the top of the wall out of turn 4. Looks like it's going to be Hess in that mix. Here comes also White. More trucks right there trying to make a climb. All of this happening now as they're 3 wide on the bottom of the racetrack with Peacock now the leader. More drivers starting to climb into the race now. Blanchard's back in the top 15 after doing well in stage 1. Newbert's making a climb after having his problems, and another truck that looks really good. The 22 is starting to climb through the field. That's Brandon Broadfoot. He just cracked the top 20 as they work into turn 3. Peacock leads.
And another guy right here, the number 37, Raul Meza, started this race 42nd all the way up inside the top 15. Meza knowing when to put that truck where it needs to be. Meza, you see him in the number 37 on the bottom of the racetrack. So a lot of guys starting to make their moves to the front, maybe not for those stage points, but be able to get up here and be able to capitalize if something was to happen up front. Peacock still getting the shove from Parsons. Brian Chu trying to keep it down on the bottom. Looks like a 4-horse race between all 4 of them. Peacock, Brian Chu, Hunter Parsons, and Tyler Dittmer, all 4 of them shoving one another down the back straightaway as here comes the number 5, Jason Morales up top, 3 wide for the lead going into turn number 3.
And they're 3 wide, 4 rows deep, Jacob, as they climb in the banking out of turn 4 here at Talladega. Leading the cavalry is Brian Chu. Up on the outside is Peacock. Moving out to the outside, Jason Morales. Where did he come from? He's looking to go to the podium as they work out a 4.
And they are getting very tight. Peacock trying to give that outside as much room as they possibly can. Actually snuck up on him just like he snuck up on us. Morales trying to keep this top lane working. They got some momentum. They got some help up there. More help than the middle lane does. But Morales trying to keep them going. Brian Chu trying to hold everybody at bay. Now 3 wide once again. Chu on the bottom, Peacock in the middle, and Morales up top with help from Christopher Blanchard, who was all the way at the back. Now he's up here trying to fight for it here coming to the end of stage number 2.
I thought a second there that our man on the outside was going to get took it out. Morales, I thought that Blanchard was going to give him a shot in the shorts and turn him in the middle of the pack. He backed off. They gave him room. Blanchard now backs away from Morales. Morales on the outside, in the middle. The monkey in the middle is going to be Peacock. Peacock says, I might be the middle man, but I want to be the leader man. He takes it to the outside of the racetrack, climbs the banking. They're 3 wide. Photo finish too close to call. Now Brian Chu will power away on the bottom as they work their way under 10 to go in stage number 2 at Talladega.
3 wide all the way through the field. Everyone knowing right here stage number 2 is when it happens. It was very calm in that first stage. Stage number 2 is not so calm anymore. 3 wide in turn number 3. Morales trying to get this shove from Blanchard and be able to keep that truck as straight as he possibly can. Basically, Wesley, it's too close to call right now. All 3 lanes got all the help that they can get. You just don't know which lane's going to prevail. It could be any one of these guys every single lap as we are closing in with about 7 to 8 laps to go in this stage. We'll see what happens, but Morales is starting to make some headway up on this top lane.
They're about 4 laps away to the cross flags. 8 laps to go in this again. Stage number 2 in the ServPro 200. Jacob Reeves, I'm Wesley Outland. Adam Fligger doing a phenomenal job on the broadcast. And the Bulldog, Jason Morales, has powered his way to the lead on the outside. You can hold it. Blanchard gives him a shot in the shorts, gives him a punt in the tailgate, keeps it working. Chu trying to rally back on the bottom, and Peacock is still the monkey in the middle.
And there's going to be a lap car on the bottom. We'll stay below that yellow line. Everyone will go 4 wide for just 1 complete second. Now they go straight back to the normal way. 3 wide. Peacock up top. Brian Chu down on the bottom, and Morales still trying to just inch it. Just try to inch it up there just as much as he possibly can. But Blanchard in tow. Now it looks like that outside lane starting to dissolve, and some of these guys trying to jump back down to the middle. But Peacock, and it looks like Brian Chu, both of these guys still door to door, but do not count out that Bulldog and the number 5 of Jason Morales up top, still trying to make it work.
Amazing that Morales is making the outside work in his advantage. right up against the safer barrier, right up against the wall of chaos and catastrophe, and he is still holding that line perfectly with the help of Blanchard, giving him a shot in the back of the tailgate. Working on the outside, back through the trial will they storm, cross the start line. They'll funnel back into turn number 1 and 2, closing in on 7 to go in stage number 2. Brian Chu stays hugged to the inside, committed to the bottom, catfishing. He's the leader again off the corner.
Chu keeping it on the bottom. Dittmer actually straight up his tailgate, giving him a huge shove. Parsons trying to give Peacock that shove as well, and still do not count out this outside lane. Still trying to get some helpers, if you will, up in this top lane, right up against the cushion for some of the dirt fans that's out there, right up against the wall. Bulldog of Morales still trying to keep him going. Blanchard still trying to keep him going. Everyone trying to get closer and closer and closer to the front of this pack as these stage laps are starting to wind down ever so quickly. I'm telling you right now, like I said, Wesley, it is an any horse race right now, but Brian Chu looks like he's in the catbird seat, taking the shortest way around here at Talladega.
Trying to sweep stage 1 and stage 2. Looking good, by the way. When they come to the line, they are officially halfway in the ServPro 200. 50 laps down, 50 laps to go, and 5 laps remaining in the stage number 2. They're not done going 3 wide yet. 3 wide, Chu on the bottom by himself. Morales falls back. Peacock will get some help. They're all climbing the banking as they work out of 4, and they're getting their opportunities to make it to the top 10 for points.
And Morales looks like he's getting those runs on the straightaways, but going into the turns, he has to back off and not be able to throw it right straight up into the fence. He gets all of it right here on the straightaway, but you'll see this inside of middle lane prevail. Morales not able to keep it with him, but this time around looks like he may be able to keep it with him as Blanchard staying right up his tailgate. Wow, I'm telling you right now, here comes Morales. He may have the catbird seat that I was talking about. He may have just stolen it away from Brian Chu. We'll see if Morales is able to get down and be able to get in a better spot, but I'm telling you, he's not going to be able to do it yet. Peacock and Parsons going to be able to jump in front of him.
Amazing that the outside lane is working. I think Peacock is now realizing that. He'll now try to climb the top of the racetrack with the help of Hunter Parsons. Nope, they'll stay in the middle lane. Clowns to the left of me, Jokers to the right. Peacock's leading the cavalry in the middle. We're closing in now on halfway. We're officially halfway through the race. 3 to go in stage number 2. Peacock trying to battle Chu for the lead as they work off 2.
And this right here has got it in everybody's mind of what happened in that first stage when Adam Newbert thought he was clear and jumped straight down to the bottom. Everybody still 3 wide. Morales still trying to get this top lane working and try to get around Peacock, Dittmer, and Brian Chu. But like I said, I mean, we saw what happened in that first stage. Like I said, it's in everybody. It's in the back of everybody's mind right now. We'll see if it happens. We hope it does not. But with everybody racing as close as they are, anything is going to happen or can and will happen. It's like Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen will happen. And I'm telling you, they are putting it on right here at Talladega. 3 to go in this stage.
It's as they always say, every action has a reaction, and it's exactly what I think we're setting ourselves up for in this virtual ride at Talladega here in stage number 2 and the ServPro 200. Right now, 3 wide. The leaders still are right there in the pack with one another, giving each other plenty of room, plenty of respect, minding P's and Q's. This is on board with Kerry Tribune now. He's outside the top 10. He's in 11th. He's trying to get around Clinkhart, Rivera. He is right there, if you will, in the calm before the storm. There is the storm brewing. He's kind of Jacob in the eye, if you will, as they work off 4.
Yeah, he's definitely in the eye of the storm, and that's somewhere that, honestly, you know, if it was me, I would not want to be in that particular situation, because anything, like I said, can and will happen right here. Last lap, I believe it is, in this stage, as Brian Chu starting to jump out on that inside lane. Do not count out Peacock in the middle, and damn sure don't count out Morales up top with Blanchard shoving him on the outside. 3 wide as they go into turn 3.
3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 again. And guess what? There's lap trucks up in the way as well. They work their way off of turn number 4, coming back down to the line through the Geico restart zone as they hit the Yellowwood Tri-Oval. It's still Brian Chu hugging the bottom of the racetrack. Peacock in the middle. Morella's on the outside. Lap trucks are up ahead. There's also 1 lap to go. Stage points up for grabs as the white flag is out.
And it's going to get really crazy now. Jacob Klinkhardt actually jumping up to this top lane. Going to see if he can help Christopher Blanchard and Jason Morales up here on this top. Get something going. And Brian Chu's going to get turned in turn number 2.
Oh,
and
no.
he's going to be able to save it. No, he was not. He will get slammed as he comes back down, and that might actually give the stage win to Taylor Peacock. But Brian Chu, wow, I mean, Wesley, basically what it looked like, almost the same thing.
I think Peacock crashed. I think Peacock might have crashed. Oh my goodness, timing and scoring has gone all cattywampus. They're showing now Jose Luis Rivera in the lead, or Cody Sanderson. We'll have to find out here. As man, what a tough break for the driver of Brian Chu. But you know what though, we thought this was going to happen, Jacob. And again, it just happened a little bit more sooner than what we had anticipated.
Yeah, and from what it looks like right there, I mean, Tyler Detmer trying to give the shove to Brian Chu right here in the middle of the corner. And it looks like he kind of got into him just a little bit. He slid up, kind of got into Peacock. And then when he tried to come back down, Detmer was still locked on his tailgate. And it looks like Detmer just innocently turned him. I mean, it happens here at Talladega. It definitely happens when there's so much hard racing going on right there. Brian Chu almost had this bad boy saved, almost came right up in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
And it looks like, Donnie Lyons was the one that nailed him right square on the left front. So hopefully Brian Chu will be able to get his truck back in gear and be able to get it back up front. He's had a fast truck. We've seen him. I mean, like I said, he started 39th and was up there running to sweep these stages. So we know he's got a fast truck. We'll just see if he's able to fix the damage and be able to get back in it and have something for him here at the end.
So it looks like Taylor Peacock will officially win stage number 2. As we look at a caution again, we've also got the trucks on pit road getting service done. Here's a look at it one more time. Thanks to Adam Fligger in the Nazareth production truck. Honestly, as you said, you watch Peacock pulling away. That's what we're watching now as they're working down the back straightaway. Brian Chu down below the yellow line. He probably had a chance to possibly save the truck, but then when he knocked into Donnie Lyons, that was the end result of what just happened. And again, at time of caution, they do not race back to the flag. Remember that. They do not race back to the flag. At time of caution, field is frozen, if you will. And again, that gave stage number 2 here at the ServPro 200 to Taylor Peacock in 81.
That's going to be awesome right there for Taylor Peacock. We talked about him just before this race, with Taylor Peacock being one of those super speedway kind of guys. We seen him late last season on the Friday night series on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, do some incredible things in that playoff race at Talladega. And looks like we got Taylor Peacock. I believe he is in here talking to us right now. Taylor Peacock, do you have a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. What's up, boys?
Taylor, I mean, all the hard racing right there just for that one stage and that one playoff point. I mean, from what me and Wesley are seeing up here, it looks like it's a madhouse out there at Talladega. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Oh man, it is a white knuckling son of a gun, man. It is fun up here. I come in knowing I needed some stage points real bad, so second in the first and first in the second. I'll take that. After missing 3 races so far this season, I got Talladega circled here. I'm going after it, boys.
You know, usually the monkey in the middle doesn't get the ball, but the ball is obviously stage points for winning stage 2. You get it.
Oh yeah. You know, I got to thank Hunter. We're not on teams here, but me and him run a lot together. we know how each other race, and I wouldn't want. I couldn't pick a better pusher than having Hunter behind me, so I got to thank him.
Taylor, one more question. We'll let you go, man. What has it been like in the cockpit of the truck tonight? It seems like for us in the broadcast booth, this has been highly entertaining. Anybody can win this race here in this final stage.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been crazy. This is being sick. This is the furthest back I've been so far this race. So I don't want to stay here. I plan on going back forward here. Let's try to stay out of the trouble.
There you go. We'll get him back into the box for Misfit Motorsports Stage 2 winner. That is, of course, the driver of Taylor Peacock. Let's step away. We'll take a break. We get ready for Stage 3 when we return from Talladega. Lights are off on the pace truck. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. I thought we were going to go to commercial break, but actually the lights are off on the pace truck, and we're getting ready for the restart. Along with Adam Flieger, our producer, and Jacob Reeves, I'm Wesley Outland. Hopefully William Tiller will be back to join us next Wednesday. And he's been a little sick. He's been in the hospital and not having a fun 4th of July. So hopefully we'll have William back with us in the booth very soon. Jacob, normally the Friday night man. Jacob, these guys are just as exciting as the Cops NASRA Premier Series on Friday night, are they not?
Yes, they are, and a lot of these guys are running in that Friday night series, like Taylor Peacock, Joey Doucette, Ed Osborne, Derek Kilgore, Jacob Klinkart, Jose Luis Rivera. I mean, a bunch of these guys you will see in the Friday night series. So if you get a chance, check them out. It's the Cops Truck Series on Friday nights on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. 9 o'clock on Friday nights, getting ready to go to Daytona and get their season kicked off.
Season 7 of what is the Cops, again, series. It's like Fire It Up, Cops Truck Series, NASRA on, of course, this Friday night, the duels. We're back to green. This is stage number 3. The run for the payout window underway. Green flag is in the air. This will take us all the way to lap 100. Sean Hamilton, the leader over Kyle Hess. Also Tim Hammond. New drivers up in the front after the pit stops. Here comes Taylor Peacock, the misfit. Powers on the outside. Stage 2 winner looking to go to the lead quickly in stage 3.
And a lot of new guys, as you said, Wesley. Sean Hamilton, Kyle Hess, Tim Hammond, Brady LaBeouf. All of these guys that were riding around in the back going to try to put their nose and put their truck up here in the front right now. Sean Hamilton, the man that is up front, and Kyle Hess. I talked to him, which was last week, about some of the upcoming for Friday night. He said that he felt good for that. Well, I'm telling you right now, he must feel really good here at Talladega, shoving Sean Hamilton across the start-finish line. But Taylor Peacock looks like Tyler Detmer is going to be able to get around Hamilton and Kyle Hess. So put Peacock, stage 2 winner, all the way up to the front, right in front of Sean Hamilton.
Whoa, in the middle, Adam Newbern, a little shot there on the bottom. Oh, I thought he was going to get tagged. He saves that truck. Works their way into turn number 3, climbs the banking 3 wide. He's the man in the middle. He's right there behind, I believe, the driver of course, Brady LaBeouf, also trying to get something started in the middle lane. Taylor Peacock is back to the lead. Canada's friend of the North, Sean Hamilton in second spot. Kyle Hess, by the way, who started on the outside of the front. I love this view. Check it out at speed. Yeah. And Kyle Hess up to third again, as you mentioned. And look at how fast they quickly got back to 3 and 4 wide.
Yeah, very, very quick back to 3 and 4 wide. I mean, I don't think they've learned anything out of that stage number 2 with all the 3 wide that was going on. But Jacob Klinkart going to be leading that outside lane with Derek Kilgore and Joey Doucette. Looks like Kerry Trebu's going to join them. 4 cars up top. Now it's going to be 5 cars up top with Cody Sanderson up top, looking to make it 3 wide once again for the lead here at Talladega.
Jose Luis Rivera, his number 20 Chevrolet, goes right up the middle. He's right up the gut, making moves, trying to hook up with this guy in front of him there, the 979 entry. And while that goes on, Peacock falling back. Jacob Klinkhart now goes to the lead. He'll pull to the inside and throw the block on them as they work in a 3. And look who's behind Rivera. Adam Newbert clears a path in the middle out of 2.
Do not count out that Ford truck of Adam Newbert. We've seen all the speed that he has. He does not want to be at the back of any of this. He does not want to screw himself out of a good finish and possibly out of a win. So Adam Newbert, you see him from Toccoa, Georgia, the Georgia man. And you know me, Wesley, I'm from Georgia myself, so I'm always for the Georgia guys out here in the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series. I'm telling you, Newbert, he is not out of this but right now, the man up front, Jacob Klinkhart, Tyler Dittmer, and Taylor Peacock, they better watch out. Here comes Curtis Rogers and Jose Luis Rivera on the outside.
And by the way, you got to remember Adam Newbert and the other drivers that are involved in that accident at the end of stage number 1 with Newbert leading coming to the white. He had he had damage on the truck, but they don't get a fast repair. Fast repair is a master reset. He had to work his way methodically back to the field here in stage 2 to put himself in contention in stage 3. He could be a guy that could win the race. And look at now Curtis Rogers, the 65. We haven't mentioned his name very much. He's now to the lead, battling with Klinkhart as they work out of 4.
And Doucette is right behind Newbert, so 4 trucks up top trying to get something working. Here's Ed Osborne in the number 28 right behind Doucette with Kilgore right behind him. 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field as Klinkhart gets shot right in front of him. Curtis Rogers jumping down. Now here's Rivera up top battling Curtis Rogers up front. Newbert going to give Jose Luis Rivera a good shot right here off of turn number 2. We'll see what happens as Dittmer's going to drop to the back of the field.
Yeah, watching this work of the back straightaway now, closing in, by the way, on lap number 64. To the back stretch they go into turn number 3. Rivera is now the new leader. He has won a race earlier this year in the series. He wants to do it again. Joey Doucette now, where did he come from? The 16 on a roll, Newbert on a roll. Anybody can win here as we're closing in on under 40 to go.
And Doucette made a killer move from the top down to the bottom and jumped right in front of Curtis Rogers. All of that happened when Dittmer got out of line and killed the momentum on the bottom lane. But Jose Luis Rivera still up front with Newbert in tow, shoving him. And now Joey Doucette. And it looks like Joey Doucette and Jose Luis Rivera battling it out for this lead right here.
Oh, my, I thought he was going to bounce off Doucette and Rogers. That was the 4 of Adam Newbert. He stays in the gas. He'll move to the number 2 spot on the outside. Powers behind Rivera. Newbert back in the ball game. Doucette now up to 3rd as they work to get out of turn number 4. Wow.
Big sliding around right here. Very early right here for all this to happen in turn number 3 as we got some movement up top. Newbert gonna hang out Jose Luis Rivera. That's Derek Kilgore back there on the outside lane. 4 wide across the stripe.
And look at Brian Chu. Where did he come from? Spinning at the bottom of the apron, the last into the stage 2. He's now right back into the top 5. He has found the line with Derek Kilgore. They are just trying to steal spots away from everybody up against the safer barrier. And Newbert just realized it and threw the block out of 2.
And Peacock, believe it or not, is going to bounce all the way to the back, drop below the yellow line, sees all this action going on. But wow, Brian Chu, we thought he was going to be in some serious trouble. But now up here trying to battle up here for the win. Newbert leading this top line with Kilgore and Brian Chu. But up front, Jose Luis Rivera getting a huge shot from Ed Osborne and Kerry Tribune up in the top lane. Doucette trying to get Rogers to help, and behind him, 3 wide back there around the Brian Chu, Adam Newbert, and Derek Kilgore area.
I say this humbly. I am a fan of restrictor plate racing because it shows the strategy of these guys. You can't just bonsai and go out there. You've got to methodically make your moves. You can't do anything crazy. And to do there, it also is in the trust factor, whether it's reality or virtual, Jacob. you've done this a long time as well. You got to respect your fellow man or woman beside you. You're 3 wide, you're 4 wide. One wrong slip can be chaos or disaster, and that's why these guys are the best and the best at NASRA, doing what they're doing. Look at them going 3 and 4 wide again through the travel as we're closing in on 30 to go.
Yeah, I mean, this right here, I mean, a lot of people will sit there and say it's just easy just to hold it to the floor and just be able to just go straight around this track. Well, it's not easy when you're 3 wide by 3 wide by 3 wide constantly every single lap. You got to hold your line, like you said. You got to have that trust in those guys, especially with Adam Newbert and Derek Kilgore, those guys up top. You got to trust 2 lanes right below you and hope like they don't have a little bit of a problem, or somebody don't get into the back of somebody and it just be out of their control. So you got to have a lot of trust running right up against that wall. But I'm telling you, we've seen it happen. We've seen this outside lane make a lot of headway and get a lot of momentum going, as it looks like we may be getting a little bit more from Cody Sanderson. Looks like he was going to try to jump up to the top and go up top, but now that outside lane has fizzled out. And now Ed Osborne down on the bottom in front of Joey Doucette. Kerry Tribute shoving Jose Luis Rivera as they go into turn number 1.
And how about another driver that has just made his way in the top 10, Brandon Broadfoot. Okay, he just fell back to 13th, but his truck was showing some strengths at one time. I think he's just trying to pick and choose the line to go with. He's with Brady LaBeouf and Brian Chu. He's now fell back into the clutches of the top 15. So is also Kilgore and Peacock, guys that were fighting for the lead a few laps ago. Now, if you will, have fell all the way back to the back of this pack as they work off 4.
And Wesley, I think they're dropping back there on purpose, honestly, because there is a lot of movement up there. You see Ed Osborne kind of just snap just a little bit going right there in the tri-oval. You see the 14 truck right there, Cody Sanderson, looked like he snapped a little bit in the tri-oval. Some of these guys don't want to get right smack dab in the middle of this. That's why you see Brian Chu and Derek Kilgore, Taylor Peacock, all these guys try to jump to the back and have a way to bail out if something was to go wrong. But up front, Jose Luis Rivera, I believe it is, still leading this bad boy. No, excuse me, that's Ed Osborne still leading Joey Doucette right in tow. And I'm telling you, even though those guys have dropped back, it has not scared any of these guys up front one bit, still battling hard for the lead here at Talladega.
Better strap in, 30 laps to go when they come storming through the tri-oval. Here they come back to the Yellowwood tri-oval out of turn number 4. Rogers is now the man that's the Pied Piper. For how long, though? Osborne to the inside. High wide enhanced them the last lap. Now looking for the lead. This lap is Osborne. Goes to the lead on the bottom of the machine of Rogers. Rogers now has Doucette in tow. Also Rivera back in the dance as they work on a 2.
Doucette giving Ed Osborne a huge shot. I mean, so many big players up here, Wesley, it's hard to figure out which one of them that there is, because everybody is so evenly matched right here. But Rogers trying to get this top lane working, trying to get Jose Luis Rivera to get up there and give him a shot. Wesley, you mentioned Jose Luis Rivera has won a race this season. He would love to get another one and pad on some more points and pad on those playoff points later on in the season and help his case to try to win a championship later on this year. But right now, he's still got around 28, 27 laps to go here at Talladega to make it work. But I'm telling you, he has put on a great race, still running up in the top lane. But Ed Osborne and Curtis Rogers still battling it out up front as they come off of turn 2.
At full speed, take a listen to this at full song. The truck's right there with a pack. That's the pack for the win. There's pack 1. Single file behind that pack in pack number 2, but now they have literally caught right back up to the leader. The leader is Ed Osborne, the man that is the conductor. He is staying to the bottom of the racetrack. We've seen passes from the bottom to the middle to the top. Any lane will work. The question is, who will be able to kick down the door at the right time? Doucette jumps out of line. Thought about going for Osborne. Gives him a struggle. Rogers on the outside battles back to the lead. New leader as they cross the line back to 1.
And not to count it out, but if this thing goes green all the way, these guys will have to run into a green flag pit stop, which is really going to throw this race into a huge wrench. And Wesley, we've seen wrecks like crazy going into the pits. So this is another thing that's got these guys in the back of their minds when they getting ready to plan, to get ready to pit. All these guys up top, they need to try to jump down to be able to get themselves lined up to go into the pits. They don't want to jump across anybody's nose because that would cause a huge accident. So we're going to be getting ready for some green flag pit stops. It's just I say that, here they come down to make their pit stops.
I think some of these guys are actually trying to go for the undercut, if you will. Jacob Reeves, they've probably got about another maybe 7-8 laps. They could probably go to lap 80 or 82 before green flag pit stops could officially begin. Some of these guys going for the undercut here at the ServPro 200 to try to be in the catbird seat for the win.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they're inside their windows, so they will be able to make it. A lot of guys, you're going to see them right here, probably not even take any tires, just take enough of fuel to be able to make it to the end of this race. Everybody try to get lined up. Nobody try to race one another. Everybody get lined up as best as they can. Get back into the draft. Get all the momentum that they can to be able to get back going, as you're going to see another wave of cars head down pit road.
Yeah, here comes some more spilling in. Looks like Kerry Tribune is going to pull onto the pit lane. So is Clinkhart. So is what? We got a wreck. Jose Luis Rivera spins in the grass. He is still near the entrance of pit road. They will not throw a caution, as also Barnett, Blanchard, White, Parsons, Maurer, Tribune, all on pit road. It's Cody Sanderson now the leader on the back straightaway.
And I'm telling you, Jose Luis Rivera came in there very, very hot. I mean, literally locked up the right front tire, trying to get it wound down the best that he possibly could, but he was not able to make it work. Now, what will these guys do? Already two groups of trucks have already made that pit stop. Will Cody Sanderson and Toad and the rest of them make this pit stop? No, they will not. They'll wait another lap. So a lot of great strategy. Wesley, you talked about all the strategy that can happen here at Talladega. You're seeing a lot of it right here. Now, you got 3 packs right here of trucks. Which pack of trucks is going to be the fastest, and which one of them is going to be able to close this thing out and get the win here tonight?
And by the way, you've got to remember, you've got to be the top dog when it's all said and done. You've got to make a perfect pit stop under green flag strategy. You cannot make a mistake. It can cost you. By the way, Brian Chu back up to the lead. They've not pitted yet. We're still waiting to see the 51 and others come to the pit lane. But as you mentioned, though, Jacob Reeves, these green flag pit stops is going to send everybody all around the racetrack. If we've got a track map, you could see it, because there will be trucks scattered on every part of the race course. And again, that is a good thing, but it also is taking away this big restrictor plate, bunched up tandem pack racing to determine the finish. There you see. All right, look, if we can get the logos out of the way, you can see the track map, and you can already see where it's already becoming organized, if you will, of everybody being separated from each other as they cross the line there into turn number 3, Jacob.
Yeah, but, I mean, everybody's going to get bunched right back up. Some may have a little bit more of an
Possibly.
Yeah, very, very good possibility. It's very possible. I know we would love to see it. I know everybody at home that's watching on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network would love to see everybody get bunched up and see some of the crazy action that we saw in stage number 1 and stage number 2. But these guys are splitting this up for a reason. They don't want to be in this big wad of cars that could produce that big one that we have been yet to see. We've seen many big ones, but we haven't seen the big one, Wesley. And that's what these guys are trying to prevent tonight here at Talladega.
Closing in on under 25 laps to go now. Jacob Reeves, Wesley Outland, Adam Flieger. The chaos and mayhem that Talladega provides, he has done a phenomenal job finding the virtual video images and the sights and sounds along the way of what this has been. We've only seen 2 caution flags, primarily at the end of the stages in stage 1 and 2. Of course, stage number 1, crazy stage going, of course, to the driver of Taylor Peacock. Brian Chu winning stage number 2. No correction, flip-flop that. Brian Chu, winner of stage 1. Taylor Peacock, winner of stage number 2. And since then, I'll be honest with you, as we come to the end of this race, Jacob, I can't tell you who's going to win this thing. I really can't.
Well, these guys back here in this second pack, I mean, literally, we've seen 2 waves of pit stops, and believe it or not, every single one of them are in a giant pack. They're actually catching Brian Chu, Derek Kilgore, and company that's up front. So they're catching them little by little, but you see a lot of side-by-side racing. You don't want to really see that. You really want them all to line up in one line, because that's going to not worry about that side drafting that we talk about a lot. We don't, I mean, obviously they don't want to slow down any more than what they have to be. They want to be full throttle all the way through and not have to worry about any air trying to pull them back. But, I mean, they got to do what they got to do. I mean, they're trying to figure out, you know, they think that they're going to be faster up front, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. You see Kyle Hess up top with Justin White trying to shove him as well. So, 2 or 3 big races going on, especially with this front pack that still has to make that green flag pit stop.
Working into the banking into turn number 1 and 2. They're coming back off the corner. Down the back straightaway, and again, watching all of this happen here, you still see Brian Chu as the leader of this pack. Derek Kilgore, Adam Newbert. We're actually watching this second pack, if you will, led by, it looks like, Joey Doucette and others. And again, still waiting for people that's got to pit. They haven't pitted yet. Remember what I said, around 80 to 85 laps was around the pit window that I was thinking, if you will. These drivers right now up in front, I think, Jacob, are pushing it to the limit of possibly emptying the tanks, because I think they're thinking we're going to see a caution with under 20 to go. It just hasn't happened yet. The hourglass will be running short. They're going to have to come to the pit lane.
And that is going to make it very interesting right here. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be trying to dip down and be able to just go in and just get that gas that they need. But you got to think about it, Wesley. They got to go all the way around turn number 1 and 2, not pull back up on the racetrack. So when they're able to merge, they're too wide back there with Taylor Peacock, Kyle Hess, and others, Joey Doucette, Jacob Klinkhardt, all of them too wide. So they're going to have to merge up with that pack. And obviously those guys are going to be at full sail. They're going to have to start gaining momentum back. So I'm with you, Wesley. They're waiting on this caution, trying to empty the tanks and see if that caution will happen and try to get everybody stacked up. Might even bring some of these other guys that came in just for fuel. They may have slid the tires a little bit, make them come in and get 4 fresh tires and be ready for the end of this race.
If you're watching the drivers working their way into turn number 1 and 2, as Jacob just mentioned and I did, there's the blend line. Watch them work their way off that second turn. You see that blue cone? Bottom of the racetrack. That is the blend line cone. They cannot commit back onto the racetrack until, Jacob, they pass that blue cone, and then you invert back into the racing traffic. If you do it before then, you will suffer an EOL penalty, and it takes yourself out of the race. So you got to remember, you got to be mindful also, not only for the, here they come, I told you, around between 80 to 85, and they're coming to the pit lane, Jacob.
Kilgore went in there very, very hot. May have got a little bit of a speeding penalty right there. Brian Chu gets in very nicely. Newbert had it woed down very nicely as well. So a lot of these guys, with the exception of Derek Kilgore, he might have been able to get it woed down the best that he could and not get busted for a black flag. But you see a lot of these guys coming in, getting this fuel, getting themselves lined up as they're going to get ready to merge back onto the racetrack. The second pack actually coming off of turn number 4 right now, as you see on your screen, with Kyle Hess and Justin White leading this pack. They're going to probably, yes.
Whoa, look out.
Promise, we got a big caution. We got a wreck back in the back. No caution as of yet. But wow, so much going on right there, Wesley. but this second pack has just shot around them as
And
now
there's the
the
yellow.
momentum flies.
There is the yellow flag. We had a couple of trucks that about got turned in the, well, they actually not, they about got turned. They did get turned in the tri-oval coming to the start-finish line. And then I think when they shot back up on the racetrack, they collected some more. And that's why we're under the third caution. Let's take a look at the on the pole instant replay. And there you see them right there driving into the grass. Oh, and they're crashing into trucks on the pit lane exit. Oh my, is that Kilgore, I believe it is? Or the 71 is Zach Hartwick, I believe.
I believe it was Hartwick, if I'm not
It is.
mistaken.
It is.
I mean,
My broadcast monitor was a little blurry. It happened so fast, but it is the 71, I believe, of Hartwick.
I mean, and that's just the product right there of, you know, this tight quarters racing that we see right here. Actually, that was Morris.
James Morris. My apologies, the 47.
Yeah, and the guy up top, he tried to come down and give the other guys.
Oh, Morales.
Right up against the wall right there. There's Morales. We saw him, the Bulldog, running up top, making a lot of moves. And wow, check out some of these guys that are coming out of the pits. Wow, Curtis Rogers, one of those guys, got lucky with some net code right there, not getting caught up in this. But wow, what a ride right here by Morris. You see just net codes through every single one of them, even the pace truck. Wow, what a move right there. I mean, what some speed right there. Wow, what a ride.
On board with Morris there. Holy cow, that was scary. Caution is out. We haven't took a commercial. We'll do one now. We settle in for the finish. I don't think anybody is coming to the pit lane. You made your bed, you lie in it. With 16 laps to go, we're back from Talladega in just a moment. From the ServPro 200, this is the NASCAR 360 Racing Network from Talladega.
Shit.
Well, we're ready to strap into the finish at Talladega. Welcome back to coverage. We're still under the yellow flag. Well, Jacob, we talked about the strategy of what would happen during the cycle of green flag pit stops, and we about got to the end of the rainbow with not having any problems. That just wasn't the case there.
No, and now every single one of these guys, like you said about a rainbow, every single one of these guys is going to see if they've got a golden horseshoe stuck up their tailgate right here with the end of this race right here. Less than 15 laps to go, so we've seen all the hard racing. We've seen all the 3 wide racing. We've even seen 4 wide racing, almost 5 wide at times, Wesley. So this is when everything is going to get really crazy. I mean, everybody at home, you might want to just sit back, hold in. I mean, just strap in to your office chair, to your sim rig, to the couch, to the recliner, whatever you're sitting in. You better go get your seatbelt if you have one, or make one real quick before we get going, because you're going to have to strap in really hard, because these guys right here are fixing to put on one hell of a show for everybody. And I'm telling you, any of these guys can't still win this race.
Make no mistake, the gloves are off, and these guys are ready to go for sure. Again, ready to bring you back to the restart. Again, we have now Kyle Hess, the pole truck, back in the lead. He is the man now at the top spot. Joey Doucette doing the outside position in the 16. Quiet night for the 16, putting him up there in position. Justin White is third. Taylor Peacock, by the way, stage 2 winner, is sitting now in the 4th spot. Jacob Klinkhart is 5th. Brian Chu, stage 1 winner, is right now in the 6th position, followed by Joey Stiers, Steve Barnett, Adam Cantwell, and Kerry Tribune in the top 10. Anybody of these drivers, and even behind the top 10, Jacob Reeves, can win this race as we get ready for the lights off for the pace truck. We settle in for the restart.
Yeah, and but the one thing, Wesley, that we have not seen yet is the big one. And I know we keep stressing about it, and everybody's probably going, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? I got a good feeling you're fixing to see it right here in about the next 12 to 13 laps right here, because these guys is not going to give an inch right here when they go back green. Barney, the flagman, got that flag in the air. Green flag. They are on the gas as they go across the start-finish line with Kyle Hess up front. Joey Doucette as they go into turn number 1.
That'll wrap up another ServPro caution here at the ServPro 200 Fire and Water Cleanup and Restoration. ServPro takes care of you. Back underway. Now they work off of turn number 2. Hess and Doucette right there toe-to-toe with one another, fender to fender, if you will. Front nose right there alongside one another, right behind them. Peacock and White, Chu, all they're trying to get right back organized again and go 2 by 2 as they work the banking into 3.
And the outside lane has a lot of great formation up there with Doucette and Peacock leading this outside lane, and also with Brian Chu right in tow with Peacock. You see everybody trying to jump to the top. Peacock tries to go a little bit higher. Doucette all the way down to the bottom, blocking Kyle Hess. Wow, Doucette did not want to have any of Taylor Peacock shoving him right there. But now, Doucette on the bottom, Hess right behind him, White right behind Hess. Now that inside lane starting to get a little bit of mustard, starting to get a little bit of momentum. But here comes that outside lane led by Taylor Peacock.
Down the back straightaway right now, Doucette right now in the middle of the racetrack. Hess will go to the bottom. They go way, way below the yellow line. If this was the NASCAR Cup Series or the trucks, there would be black flag penalties. But this is not for NASCAR. It is all fair game. Peacock leads them in the corner. Chu now back to second. Ironic as we close in on 10 to go. The stage 1 and 2 winners, Jacob, are leading off the tribal out of 4.
And now Chu's going to jump it straight to the top and try to make way up there, up top. Going to leave Steve Barnett up top. And here comes Adam Newbert. We talked about him, the champion from last season. Got involved in an earlier wreck at the end of stage number 1. Now back in the front of this pack, trying to get Brian Chu in tow and shove him all the way to the front. And here comes the number 10 of Adam Cantwell. A bunch of guys, or some of these guys we have not talked about tonight. Barnett and Cantwell. Everybody trying to get something going. 3 wide looking going into turn number 3.
Adam Cantwell about got a punt from Adam Newbert just a moment ago. The Adam Adams show now moves to 3rd and 4th behind the leaders of Peacock and Chu. Up the outside lane, here comes Barnett in the 42. Also Dittmer. Dittmer is up in that mix. Also working outside. Somebody, here you go, watching Chu in the middle. He's been so strong in that part of the racetrack, Jacob. And now as we're approaching 10 to go, they are right now ready to go for the money.
And they're going to try to split him. Brian Chu stuck in the middle. Peacock and Barnett going to split him. And check this out. Steve Barnett, have not talked about him all race long, with Tyler Dittmer getting a huge shove up top, courtesy of Hunter Parsons right behind Dittmer. Now it's going to be back and forth, seesawing. Which lane is the fastest lane? Chu's line, Peacock's line, or is it Steve Barnett, the new man, up in the front? Which line is it that they need to be? We're going to find out here in the next 9 laps as they come to the line. 9 laps to go, Wesley.
Single digits now on the board, my friend, as you mentioned, and we've seen the inside lane work at times. We've seen the middle lane work. We've seen the outside work. Now the question is, who will prevail when it's time to go to the payout window? It's time to declare checkmate and put these chess pieces in order. Chew in the middle. He powers away from the inside truck of Peacock. Barnett still hung out to dry on the outside. He'll lead him into turn number 3, single file.
And Chew getting all he can get from Adam Newbert. Now we'll see what Adam Newbert does. Shades of what happened earlier, as I said, from stage 1. He knows that's in the back of his mind. Gonna try to make sure he can get through this sucker as clean as possible and get as many points as he can, or even try to go for the win. Peacock all the way down to the bottom. Brian Chew stuck up top. Cantwell right behind Peacock. Newbert behind him, and 3 wide behind the first 4 trucks in the field. 8 laps to go.
8 laps to go. I cannot believe it that we just didn't have a wreck a few moments ago coming off the corner. Kerry Tribune was getting really, really loose. Barnett was thinking about going to the inside, jumping to the middle lane, cutting the block on Chew, and then getting to Peacock. They still hold it together. Look at how close this pack is. This is how close it is. Anybody could win in this pack as they work into 3.
And Tim Hammond, the 69 truck, have not talked about him all race long. As much as Barnett, both of them now starting to work together. Newbert's going to get the fence, and this might be the big one. It is the big one right here, almost at the end of the race. Big time calamity right at the entrance of pit road. It all happened when Adam Newbert got turned up in the outside retaining wall.
Several trucks scampering to move away from the accident. You see what's left of Blanchard's truck. Obviously, Adam Newbert damaged. You said a few moments ago in the back of his mind, he had a fear this was going to happen. It just did with 7 to go.
Yeah, and we're going to see it right here on the pole instant replay on your screen. And you see Newbert right there. I mean, he just comes straight up the track. May have got a little bit of help from behind, but honestly, I mean, no. I mean, Tribune was nowhere near him. I mean, Newbert just tried to come straight up the track. May have got a little bit tight. Actually, Wesley, there might have been a little bit of net code involved in that. You can see it right there with Hammond and Newbert's trucks, how they collided. And then from there on, everybody trying to just jump straight to the
middle.
bottom.
Ditmer in the middle. Brandon Broadfoot, the 23 Steyrs involved. Osborne turned. Somehow or another, Adam Newbert bouncing off of the Curtis Rogers machine and still kept going. And then you see everyone else, Bullock caught up in it. Ron Hunter just barely squeezing by. Oh, man, craziness everywhere here.
I mean, a bunch of action going on. And honestly, if you ride on board with Cody Knott in the 26 or Raul Meza, check this out right here. Meza. Wow, what a move right there by Meza. His looked just like Cody Knott's with all of that action that took place. But Meza able to squeak right through every single bit of it. Here's Cody Knott's view right here. I mean, and Wesley, all you see is smoke right there. I mean, you ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah, nowhere to go. You and I both said it at the same time. Nowhere to go. I mean, you're completely blocked. You have no peripheral vision, whether virtual or reality. That's what it looks like. You look for the smoke, and you hope you get through it. In a tough break, for the most part, actually, it looks like the Madeira, California driver might not have that bad damage on that truck.
I mean, that right there, honestly, you know, we've seen drivers, or we've heard that, you know, drivers, when they see smoke happen, when they see a lot of wrecks happen in front of them, they just close their eyes. I mean, you know, if you've got that dealt in front of you, you're basically just going off faith at that point. I mean, you more or less have to, Wesley, going off faith with so many trucks right there in front of you, so much smoke blocking your view, you can't see nothing. I mean, you're basically at the point of Jesus, take the wheel, and just whatever happens.
That's exactly right, yeah. And while all this transpires, it is closing in on Taylor Peacock back up front, Brian Chew second. I mean, look, Adam Cantwell, what a drive for the number 10, man. He's got a solid run up 30 spots in that third position, the number 10. Bowtie, Chevrolet number 10 in third. Joey Doucette, he's been really quietly climbing in to position. Kerry Tribune, another driver that's done really, really well. Justin White, and you know, as we got 6 to go, Jacob, we mentioned Steve Barnett. Robert Richards, this is his game right here, man. He loves restrictor plates. He's up in the top 10 now.
Yeah, and I had the very, great privilege of racing with a lot of these guys in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series at an event at Talladega last week. And Robbie Richards, I got to be honest with you, I'm a fan of just talking to him and getting to know Robbie and, talking to him, a little bit about these trucks and the personality that Robert has. I mean, it's awesome, I guarantee you right now, Robbie's a fan favorite in this series. But he does know how to get it done, as you said, on these plate races. And we're going to see what he's got. As a matter of fact, we got Robbie Richards in here in the Nazareth 360 Racing booth. Robbie, do you have a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Robbie, we just talked about it. Wesley did. This is your playground right here, the Super Speedway here at Talladega. You're here. You finally made it all the way right here to the end. 5 to go, coming to 4 to go at the line. What's your game plan right here? I mean, I know you don't want to give it away for the other drivers, but what's your mindset right here going into these last 4 laps?
Well, I've got 3 teammates around me, and Nate's making his way up here. So, if me and Justin can get to the high side and we can get Kerry out here with us, we can probably make a run on the outside and at least get pushed to the front. Maybe hopefully one of us gets the win. Justin needs a win. Kerry could use a win. So if it's planned right, I'd like to get Justin the win, push Justin. But if I have a run and he's not around or whatever, I'm gonna go for it.
Robbie, settle in. We're getting ready to come back for the restart, but I got to ask you, though, buddy, this is about the time now that we start to see your genius appear. That truck's right in the top 10.
Yeah, man, we're going to give it a shot. I've learned some things over the just watching real life, and then I've learned some things just as iRacing progressed here, and hopefully I can use them and get it to the front.
Go get him, ladies and gentlemen, for Brute Force Motorsports. That is Robbie Richards. He is outside row number 4 in that 8th position as that wraps up a ServPro caution. They're back inside the Yellowwood Tri-Oval, coming back to the Geico restart zone. It will be Jacob Reeves. 4 laps to go. Can we go to the checker? Will we go to overtime? This is Talladega. Green flag back out. Peacock on Chew on the jump. Cantwell is inside. He gives him a push into 1.
Peacock out away with the lead. Cantwell trying to shove him away and make it just a 2-truck battle, but the pack is starting to close in ever so slightly. Doucette back here trying to get this top lane working with Brian Chew. We're going to see what else happens right here as Jason Morales up here in the middle of this. Steve Barnett. Chew's going to try to go to the top. Maybe make it 3 wide. Doucette almost hangs him out as now Peacock and Cantwell are going to be in some serious trouble as there is Kerry Tribune top trying to get around with Justin White trying to help.
Working off of turn number 4, this time by 3 laps to go at the line. Kerry Tribune now leading the way over White. Peacock and Chew alongside. Cantwell now battles along with Doucette, giving a push. Richards on the outside. 3 to go. They're back to 1.
As Will Taylor would say, 3 to go. 3's in there. Rest in peace to the number 3 of Dale Earnhardt. Kerry Tribune keeping it down on the bottom with Justin White in tow. Doucette all over the back of Brian Chew. Wow, everybody's shoving one another, literally. The first 7 to 8 trucks shoving one another as they go into turn number 3. Chew keeping it up top trying to get help from Doucette. Kerry Tribune down on the bottom, and Justin White straight up his tailgate as Peacock gets into White just a little bit.
All about getting loose just a moment ago as they work off a turn 4 back to the triangle. Somehow they hold it together. Peacock bounces off a ping pong ball on Chew. He bounces off a Cantwell. They somehow hold it together. 2 to go. Less than 6 miles remain as they climb the bank again into turn number 1 and 2, and they're going to go 3 wide.
Peacock being very aggressive at the time that he needs it to be, and might have just killed Brian Chew's race. Maybe not. Kilgore going to be able to line right back up with him. Peacock trying to get the shove from Doucette. Barnett right to his inside, but Kerry Tribune trying to keep it all at bay and try to keep it going, as Cantwell's now going to take a look to the outside, see if he can get some help from Peacock.
This will work off of turn number 4. They are trying to get back to the line. White flag, and this will end the race. Race back to the win. Here they come to the triangle. Tribune to the inside. Cantwell on the outside. Everyone storms the line. We got trouble. Rogers is in the fence. Robbie Richards is caught up in it. They have wrecked, but they took the white flag. I think this is the race to the finish. They took the white flag. No, they're going to say it's a caution. We are going to overtime at Talladega. Wow.
Wow, all the hard racing up front, and you just knew it was bound to happen. I mean, Wesley, we talked about this storm was brewing. We talked about the eyes of the storm. Well, there was another storm brewing right there. Maybe not the biggest one that we've seen tonight, but certainly took out a couple of competitors right here. Almost got that white flag. If white flag would have came out, this race would have been straight up over. But you're going to see the instant replay right here on the pole instant replay. A couple of guys trying to make it look good up top. Try to get something going, and wow, Wesley, that looked like another netcode issue right there.
Yeah, and tough break there for not only the driver of Rogers in the 65 machine again, the driver again caught up in it of Curtis Rogers, and then Robbie Richards. Man, what hard break for the 48. We were talking about him making a climb back through the field. Nowhere to go. And caught up in this thing. There goes a look at another truck that got involved. I want to say that's Bullock in the 17. Man.
Very unfortunate to see that right there. I mean, especially like you said for Robbie Richards. I mean, one of those guys that a lot of these guys in this series have a lot of respect for. Brian Chew right there. You see him also get involved in this as well. Wow. I mean, wow, just took out a lot of great trucks right here at the end.
Yeah, it's heartbreak. Brian Chew. And there you see Nate Maurer, bottom of the racetrack, obviously involved, the 971. And hey, we are going to do this again. There you see Cody Knott up against the outside retaining wall, the 26th. He got caught up in it again. Now let's look at it from another angle here. By the way, we now settle up for overtime here in the ServPro 200. And
you see it right there. I mean, really, really heartbreaking to see that right there. I mean, Wesley, I know we may have just lost connection with you right there.
Katie barred the door.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate to see that, but I mean, these guys are trying to get every inch that they can, and it looked like Robbie may have been trying to get a little bit of a side draft. Maybe he might have got a little bit loose. I mean, obviously, you don't want to do anything. I mean, these guys are trying to do absolutely nothing intentional. They're not trying to wreck one another. They're just trying to get every little bit that they can, and Robbie might have got a little bit loose. Then again, you know, he might have got tagged in the back just a little bit by Brian Chew. I mean, it could have been a number of things that caused this right here, but Wesley, we talk about it all the time. This is restrictor plate racing. These are the things that happen.
This is why I love restrictor plate racing, because you never know the unknowns of the strategy of what's going to happen. Here's a look at it one more time on board with one of the TRD trucks of Cody Sanderson, the Westville, Oklahoma driver. And look at this. Oh, wow. Wow.
See, he's partying.
He's in
right
the game.
For him. Wow.
He's still in the game. You're exactly right. Partying in the Red Seas like in the Bible.
Wow. I mean, and once again, honestly, like you talking about, like out of the Bible, parting the Red Seas. I think he was thinking Jesus take the wheel once again right there. I mean, you see smoke, you see all the cars going. You want to go where they're not. Here's the problem. You can't see nothing, so you don't know where to go. Well, I'm telling you, Cody Sanderson right there, that may have honestly been a race-winning move if he was to somehow get up here and get a hold of this right here, get a win, or even get a top 5. That's a top 5 move right there by Cody Sanderson to be able to get through that.
Yeah, all of this going on as we're moving into the end of this race. Hands down, it's Kerry Tribune, Adam Cantwell, Justin White, Steve Barnett, and Taylor Peacock right now, the top 5. And again, you have Kerry Tribune for the agcompressor.com. Here we go. Brute Force Motorsports. We were mentioning Robbie Richards, and now you have another driver for Brute Force Motorsports up there in that mix with Kerry Tribune. He could win this race. He's being patient, if you will, Jacob.
Well, and Robbie talked about it a minute ago. We talked to him, you know, wanting to try to get up there and help Tribune. You know, Tribune needs a win. Justin White needs a win. Obviously, Robbie needs a win as well. But 2 of his teammates right here running first and third, and that's what they want. They don't want to be starting side by side and, you know, have to try to play some kind of game to try to get each other lined up some way, somehow. This is what they wanted. They wanted to be lined up nose to tail, and this may work out in their favor, but I'm telling you right now, Adam Cantwell, one of those guys that we have seen up here make some daring moves. Obviously, Taylor Peacock in 81, we seen him shuck it straight in the middle, 3 wide, and shoved Brian Chew straight up almost into the wall. Take Steve Barnett, a guy that has just came out of nowhere, and Doucette, one of those guys that I have talked to him in the past, not real fond of this super speedway race, and find himself inside the top 10 with Ed Osborne, Raul Meza, and Jason Morales. All of these guys has got a shot to win it, and even any of them back in the top 20 or all the way in the back. Anybody on the lead lap has a shot to win it as we go green, white, checkered.
ServPro caution is done. ServPro 200 now going into overtime. Field goes back into the Geico restart zone. They need to get the white flag, and they are not. They're wrecking again on the green flag. They're racing again, and they are wrecking again, and they're not done yet. Barnett just got turned. They're wrecking in the back of the pack, and the caution will come out. Second overtime on deck.
Wow, not real sure what
they didn't even get the
caution
speed.
was. But I'll say this, the one guy that kind of got hosed out of this right here was Steve Barnett. I mean, all he was doing was just trying to check up to try to slow down for the caution, and it just gets drilled into the backup. Not real sure exactly what happened to Barnett. You see the caution reason on your screen, but I'm looking at it right here where Barnett was. Looks like he might have got a little bit of help from the 28 of Ed Osborne.
So this happened in the back of the pack. We'll see how all this transpires here. Because here's the front of the leaders. And I'm wondering if there was some brake checking or shaking tires going on, but I don't see anything of that going on here. Well, we're looking at an aerial view now, but you know, it bottlenecked the field right there. Now,
yeah, Wesley, I'm with you on this.
I saw Barnett spun. I saw Barnett spun whenever they had already threw the caution, but I'm wondering if race control themselves didn't like the restart and they called the caution back.
That is a very good possibility, Wesley. I mean, you know, that could have been, you know, somebody might have not been lined up in the right spot. Some of these guys might have been laying back a little bit. So, I mean, anything is very good and possible while there was a caution right there. So you're going to see right here, the aerial view here at Talladega Superspeedway. But once again, the big loser out of all of this, like I said, was Steve Barnett.
They're saying that it was a checkup between the 1 of Clinkhart and the 20 of Rivera, and that's the reason why they threw the caution from race control. TJ Moore just told me, Jacob.
All right, well then that would explain a lot. So that would explain that a lot right there as to why that happened right there. But the good thing about all of this right here is that even though everything happened, and even though Barnett got basically, I guess you could say, dumped down to the inside line, Barnett is going to be able to keep his spot because of how the caution came out and how everything happened. So Barnett, don't count him out. He may have a little bit of rear end damage, but he's not going to pit. He's not going to fix that truck. He's not even going to worry about the back end of that truck. You see the back frame right there, the back bumper dented in, caved in, but he ain't looking at that anyway. He's wanting everybody else to look at it right here at the end of this green-white checker.
Getting ready for the second overtime coming up. Jacob, I'll try to stay with you as long as I can, buddy. I've got another iRacing broadcast obligation at the top of the hour, but hopefully we can get this one finished before, and we're going to get another shot at well, they're actually still under caution. I figured maybe we would be coming to green, but they're not. This is going to be attempt number 2 of overtime, and you got to remember, the leader has to take the white flag. If they do not take the Darren Snell gun repair 1 to go, then, and we get another caution, we'll go again for a 3rd time. If they take the white flag, then all bets are off. Wreckers or checkers, we're coming back to the finish.
Yeah, and no cautions whatsoever once that white flag is displayed. And once that leader has taken that white flag and crosses that line, Wesley, you said it, wreckers or checkers, it doesn't matter if the whole damn field wads them up right there coming off of turn number 4. They can't throw nothing because it's all within iRacing. So that right there, I mean, that right there is going to be a game changer big time. I mean, obviously, they want to try not to be able to make another green-white checkered, Wesley, but they still don't want to get caught up in anything on that last lap because there ain't nothing that can save them at that point.
Yeah, it's going to be, again, the second attempt. This is attempt number 2 at overtime. Welcome to coverage on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. It's the NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series at Talladega, the ServPro 200. I'm Wesley Outland. Jacob Reeves is alongside. Hopefully William Tiller will get better. He's been in the hospital the last week and did not have a fun 4th of July, but I know he's getting better, and I think they're telling him to take another week off just to get improved. And we hope he gets back with us. Adam Flieger, are you not entertained? This has been a fun job entertaining us with the production of the broadcast. And well, we now get ready for 2x2. Jacob, we get ready for a restart here. Overtime number 2 on deck.
And they're not going to be 2x2 for long, obviously, Wesley. This right here, I mean, you're either going to lay back and pray for them all to wreck, or you're going straight to the front. You have 2 options. A lot of people would say you only got 1 option. That's just to go forward. Not to lay back because you don't know if they're going to wreck or not.
Sure.
So, but in my opinion, you do have 2 game plans. You still can ride at the back and try to be able to miss the big one, even if it is on that last lap. If you can make it through that wreck, we've seen Raul Meza. He's actually up here getting ready to battle for that win up here in the 8th spot. He's still got a shot. We've seen him go through some crazy wrecks. We've seen Cody Sanderson go through some crazy wrecks as well. So anything's possible. They got 2 game plans right now, but honestly, you got to go. I mean, you ain't got no other choice. You got to go. And so you're fixing to see a lot of 3-wide racing, and you might see another big one.
Got to go, and you got to go now. Pace truck is scampering from the field as they make their way back to the Yellowwood Tribal inside the Geico restart zone. Another ServPro caution in overtime. Done. This is overtime number 2. Can we get to the finish? Back to the Geico restart zone. Through the gearboxes they go. Kerry Tribune on the jump. Powers away from White with his help on the punt. It's going to be Cantwell with a punt there by also Peacock. Barnett by himself. They climb the banking. 2 to go into turn 1.
And this right here is when it gets really scary, Wesley. You got some of these guys that is not packed up very tightly. That's going to give everybody behind them a shot to get up here and make a run, and that's usually when you see wrecks. But up front, Tribune still keeping it in tow. Cantwell with help from Taylor Peacock. Here comes Ed Osborne up top with Doucette trying to give him the push. 3 wide, possibly looking. Everybody getting squirrely up here as the Bulldog, Jason Morales, now going to sneak up in the middle of this.
Where did Jason Morales come from? He's in that middle lane with Cantwell and Peacock. Peacock just got slung like a rag doll. He about got called for tilt as they work their way in the corner. Now they come to the line. They're coming to the corner. This is it, to the line. They're wrecking. Oh, no! They took the white flag, but they crashed. White goes in the fence. Peacock's in the wall. So is also Tremieux. Kilgore just got piled into it. They are still saying this is the white flag. 1 to go. The leader is now Jason Morales on the back straightaway.
And Morales all by himself literally has nobody even in tow trying to get to him. Is the only one. That's Jonathan Wiley trying to get what draft he possibly can. A little bit of front end damage from Jonathan Wiley. Big pile up at the start finish line. Morales may have this one in the back. He tries to break the draft. Wiley making a run at him.
Here comes now the machine on the outside. It's going to be Jonathan Wiley on the outside. Losing ground is Jason Morales. Morales falling back. He just got passed by Cody Sanderson. Jonathan Wiley is going to steal one at Talladega. I can't believe it. Winner of the ServPro 200. It's Jonathan Wiley. He ran away from him. Jason Morales did. He got ran down from the draft. And then Wiley gets the pass and gets the win. Cody Sanderson in second. What a race, what a finish here at Talladega.
Wesley, I am speechless at what we just seen. I mean, that was unbelievable. That was, I mean, Wesley, I said earlier that I have called a lot of crazy races here at Talladega on iRacing, and I'm telling you, every single one trumps the one before it. But big time calamity right here. Wow, great.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal, and I want to let everyone know this. Part of me is saying they should have threw a ServPro caution. However, if you go back, and I think that's what Adam Flieger is showing us, the leader crossed the line. Because the leader crossed the line before they crashed, if you will, Jacob Reeves, that's why they said race is official. We're going to the white flag lap. If they would have wrecked and a caution would have been called before they got to start finish, I think we would have had a third and final attempt at overtime. But they wrecked. If we could go back on replay, Adam Flieger, go back to the front of the trucks. If we could go back to the front of the pack, you will notice, probably from this angle right here on board with Brian Chu. Again, Jacob Reeves, here you go. This will tell the tale perfectly. You see they already got the white flag. The white flag is waving. Here comes the leaders. Any day now, at speed, coming to the line. You see that? So do you see my point, Jacob? There's the reason why they didn't throw a caution, because the wreck happened after they crossed the start-finish line. It happened so fast, yes, but they did take the white flag officially.
And that's the reason why they didn't throw it. And I guarantee you right now, Jason Morales was just wanting them to throw it, because he would have been the one to be able to come out of this and get the win. But you see Jonathan Wiley, look at, oh, wow. Even he got in it. Nobody got away from that right there scot-free. Even Jason Morales, which I believe he had a little bit of a front-end damage, may have even had what we would call a meatball flag, which is your truck is too damaged to continue. That's how Jonathan Wiley was able to suck straight up and get to him. But wow, I mean, from Westville, Oklahoma, Jonathan Wiley getting the win here at Talladega.
The cowboy, Jonathan Wiley. And listen, I don't want to take anything away from Jason Morales. He had an opportunity, but here's the deal. We've talked about this draft racing, if you will. Wiley got the draft on him, pulled away. Here's the mistake that Jason Morales had, and it's not even his fault, Jacob Reeves, in closing. He had such a big lead, pulled away from everyone else by himself. You are slower than when you're in a pack of 2 or 3 trucks or more, and that's how Sanderson and Wiley ran down Morales and took that win away from him.
You are exactly right on that, Wesley. I mean, even with the damage that all of the trucks had, I mean, it's like I said, every single driver that basically crossed the start-finish line taking the white flag, if they didn't get in it, they literally slammed on the brakes and they was back a football field from trying to get caught up in it. And even then, you see it right there. The track is literally blocked. I mean, you can't
Wow.
go nowhere. So everybody had to get a little bit of a piece of this wreck. But I mean, wow. I mean, what a finish to a great race.
Let's take a look at the results as we're watching this crazy chaos across the line. Hey, listen, Jacob Reeves is going to handle you for post-race. My apologies to everybody in our audience. I am literally coming up on overtime, and because so, I have another iRacing broadcast obligation with the Northwest Truck Series at the top of the hour, literally past the top of the hour. Here is your results again. Again, pending anything changing, it is official. Jonathan Wiley is your winner. Cody Sanderson in second. Jason Morales third. Raul Meza is fourth. Adam Newbert in the top five. Brandon Bullock is sixth. Hunter Parsons is seventh. Brady LaBeouf is eighth. Chris Blanchard ninth. And Joey Stiers, even involved in an accident in overtime number one, if you will, Jacob still finishes in the top 10.
And a lot of these guys still getting very good finishes. Rashawn Hamilton is going to come home in 11th. Lance Miller going to be in 12th. Adam Newbert, all the stuff that he has went through this race, still somehow or another is going to come home in the 12th spot. Or excuse me, 13th spot rather. Derek Kilgore, Jeffrey Johnson Jr., that's your top 15. Tim Hammond, Justin B. White, who was up there battling for the win, along with Taylor Peacock. They're going to be 18th and 19th, respectively. And looks like Brian Chew is going to wind home in the 20th spot. Or excuse me, Brian Chew in the 19th spot. Jacob Klinkart will be in 20th.
Tyler Detmer, Nate Bauer, Zach Hartwick, Torrey Thompson, Joey Doucette, top 25. Donnie Lyons, Kerry Tribune, Tyler Daniels, Huck Wigington, Cody Knott will be in the top 30. The rest of the rundown, including Jeff Sickles, Steve Barnett, Ed Osborne, Adam Cantwell, Jose Luis Rivera, Brandon Broadfoot, Chris Kynes, Ron Hunter, Kyle Hess, and Curtis Rogers, top 40. Robert Richards in the back, along with James Morris and Ryan Twinham. The race director of the NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series is TJ Moore. Brady LaBeouf and Cody Knott are the operators of NASRA. Adam Fleeger, Jacob Reeves, I'm Wesley Outland. Don't go anywhere. Jacob has got post-race with the top three. I will see you in 2 weeks as I have other broadcast obligations next Monday. But what a way to cap it off tonight. Jonathan Wiley, winner in the playoffs, and wins a wild double overtime. ServPro 200. Don't go anywhere. Post-race interviews and analysis with Jacob Reeves on the NASRA 360 Racing Network when we return from Talladega.
And welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. You just saw a great finish here at Talladega Superspeedway. Jonathan Wiley getting the win, but we are going to bring in the podium finishers. We're going to start with Jason Morales. Going to come home in that third spot. Jason, you got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jason, I know you might have been talking to your Highline teammates right then. Sorry to probably cut off that conversation, but Jason, I mean, man, you had it for about half a lap. I mean, literally had it for about half a lap, and then Jonathan and Cody just come out of nowhere. I mean, obviously, with the big wreck happening, obviously we know you had some kind of damage. How bad was the truck? And did you have anything to be able to hold off Jonathan and Cody?
No, no, man, it was in pretty bad shape. So I saw them coming. The only thing I could do was try to break the draft a little bit here and there, but I wasn't going to try to throw any blocks or anything like that, make it any worse.
Well, going from where we're at Talladega this week and all the points, that has happened and everything, still coming home third, but now we're going from full throttle draft racing to beating and banging and bumping, going to Martinsville next week. What do you feel about your chances at Martinsville next week?
I really like the next two races. I like Martinsville. As long as you can qualify up front and stay away from some of the problems that happen in the back. Homestead after that, really, really like those. And God dang it, man, I'm going to win one of these races one of these days.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if you love Martinsville, I love it too. You may have a good shot at it because obviously you got to have a lot of confidence going in that race. But Jason Morales coming home third tonight here at Talladega on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Jason, you got anybody that you'd like to thank that made this possible tonight, bud?
Yeah, sir. Yep. So first and foremost, the wife that lets me do all this and enjoy my Monday nights running. I think it's easy to forget that, this does take a lot of chunk out of our day for all of us that do this. So, big props to my wife for letting me do it. My teammates, Hunter and Steve and Tyler and Chris, another strong finish for the team. That's what we talked about coming in here was, let's just make sure we have a good strong team finish. So, and then obviously my sponsors, Sunstar Dental and around the block tax services, and then all my family that watches it, Brady, all the rest of the league sponsors. So, yeah, man, and what you guys do, make it enjoyable. Hopefully, it was a good race to watch.
It was an awesome race to watch, and big thanks to all the wives having to put up with us. I'm all for that comment right there. But Jason Morales coming home third tonight. We'll see you at Martinsville next week, bud.
Yes, sir.
All right, and that was Jason Morales coming home in the third spot. And looks like we're going to bring in our second place driver. That's the number 14 right here, Cody Sanderson. Cody, do you have a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Cody, I'm telling you, man, look, from your ride tonight, we've seen a bunch of times that, and I'll just be honest with you, and don't take no offense to it, but there's a couple of times you shouldn't even finished.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I know.
just gonna be
I
honest.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, you put on some great views. I mean, you had some great views from the in-car cam with your number 14 truck, and I mean, did you think you might have had something right there for Jonathan? I mean, we talked to Jason. Jason said his truck was killed.
Yeah.
And everybody's truck was basically killed because everybody got caught up in it. But did you have anything possibly for Jonathan right there coming into the trial?
Man, I don't know. We was both screaming at each other in Discord the whole time. I was just excited to make it through that last wreck. I felt like I was in every freaking wreck that happened tonight. So, but when I closed in on him, I felt like, well, maybe I could break around, but I wasn't watching my mirror and I didn't know how close anybody else was, and I didn't want to take a chance on either one of us not finishing 1-2. So I just tucked in and pushed.
I mean, that's pretty much all you can do with the two Oklahoma boys right there.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't really do much on that part. But
Yeah.
Cody, we come from Talladega, and we know how Talladega is so unpredictable with the high speeds and the drafting and the 3-wide and the 4-wide. Now we're going to Martinsville next week where, as I talked to Jason a while ago about this, all the beating and the banging, the bump draft, not the bump drafting, but the bumping out of the way
Oh, yeah.
to try to get off the bottom. How do you feel about your chances at Martinsville? And then also the following week, going to Homestead?
Man, I'm decent at Homestead. Martinsville's going to be rough for me. I feel like if you can get out there and qualify good, you'll have a lot better chances. But if you start in the back, it's going to be rough. It's going to be hard to get up there. I think if I was to qualify in the second half of the field, I'd probably just ride around at the back and let everybody kind of weed themselves out and just try to be there at the end. Martinsville is not my strong suit at all.
Well, we'll see what happens on that. I mean, granted, we've seen a lot of crazy things happen here, and we've seen a lot of crazy things happen at Martinsville too. So maybe that'll play into your favor. But Cody coming up one spot short tonight. Granted, with your buddy Jonathan taking the win tonight. Is there anybody that you would like to thank that made this second place finish possible tonight, bud?
Oh yeah, WR1 Sim Rigs. My buddy Jonathan, he's helped me out, man. I just got this a year ago, and I tried running this league last year, and I was so bad I dropped out before everybody in the whole damn team wanted to kick me out. But Jonathan's kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sim rig, WR1 Chad Wheeler, he built an awesome rig, and I'm kind of a bigger dude, so it's a hell of a lot better than sitting in the damn kitchen floor doing this.
I've been there, buddy. I guarantee you, I've been there. Just watching some of the last lap move right there, getting sandwiched, but still being able to come home in the second place. Cody, congratulations on that. We'll see you at Martinsville, bud.
I appreciate it, bud. Thanks.
All right, and that was Cody Sanderson coming home in the second position, and now we got the man, the myth, the legend. We got Jonathan Wiley, the cowboy, being able to come home with the win tonight. Jonathan Wiley, I mean, take us through that whole, I guess you could say that last green-white checkered. I mean, we knew that the intensity was going to pick up. We knew everything was going to get so crazy. I mean, when everything happened in front of you, I mean, what was going through your mind? I mean, did you think you had a shot to get through it, or was you just like I was saying earlier, Jesus, take the wheel and just hope I get through it?
I don't know. I seen a lot of the wrecks that happened earlier on in the race were all just killing the bottom line, and I was on the bottom line, so I said, "Yep, that's it." I saw the smoke and saw some cars coming down or trucks coming down, and I was like, "Yeah, that's it. It's over." And then, luckily, they just hit the sides of the truck just right, and it pulled through a little bit of damage.
Yeah, you was able to get through that pretty good. We just got through talking to Jason Morales. That last lap pass, I mean, did you I mean, did you have it planned out? I mean, did you have it kind of planned out that you wanted to go to the top, or was you thinking, just go wherever he can go, or if you just go wherever he goes and he tries to jump up and block, just dump him? I mean, what was your game plan trying to get around him, knowing that he was that slow?
After the wreck happened, I saw how far out he was. I didn't know how much damage he had, and just thinking quick, I said, "Yeah, I'm settling for second." And then seeing that he had quite a bit of damage, I guess, because I started reeling him in pretty quick, and then I knew that he wouldn't be able to pull down to block a low if he was up to speed, so I kind of pump faked low and then went on around the outside, and it just happened to work. Cody, he was keeping me calm the whole race because I was just itching. I said, "All right, let's go." I'm bored back here running 20th for 80 laps, and then he was like, "No, just let's wait, buy our time," and then it paid off. Me and him got first and second, and we don't ever run asphalt hardly at all anyway. We're like diehard dirt guys, so it's pretty fun to come in here and win.
Yeah, especially with how everything played out. Now, I mean, you talked about it. You don't really run a lot of asphalt. This series is actually going to go to Martinsville next week. If you are going to Martinsville, what do you feel about your chances when you go to Martinsville next week?
I will absolutely not be at Martinsville. My chances there would be terrible. It'd be a waste of time for me to even go in there. I'd upset someone running for points. I'd wreck the field. It'd be bad. I wouldn't even do that to anybody in the league, because I know for sure it would be a bad deal.
Well, Jonathan Wiley coming home tonight, stealing one here at Talladega. Jonathan Wiley, you got anybody that you would like to thank that made this possible being in Victor Lane here tonight at Talladega?
I think during the race for sure, I gotta say Cody. He was right there. We stayed nose to tail for, I'd say probably 90 of the laps that we ran, and then outside of the race, I'd say my wife and kids were watching, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad they were just as excited as I was. WR1 sim rigs, Speed Ranch e-setups are huge on dirt setups. So if you need a setup, go to speedranch.com and get hooked up there. Tanner Tomasi and a bunch of those guys run the Pro Series in dirt. So they could definitely get you headed in the right direction if you do have dirt fans watching. Other than that, man, that's about it. I can't believe that I won it. I can't believe like you said, it was stolen at the end. Me and Cody 1-2 swept it. It felt pretty good. It was a good race.
Well, Jonathan Wiley, the cowboy from Westville, Oklahoma, singing the Garth Brooks song "Friends in Low Places," and he had a friend in Cody Sanderson behind him tonight. Jonathan Wiley, congratulations on the win tonight, bud.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That was Jonathan Wiley coming home with the win tonight. And I mean, wow, folks. I mean, we saw an excellent race tonight. Saw strategy, you saw wrecks, and you saw a last lap pass for the win. I mean, basically an upset in Jonathan Wiley coming home with the win tonight. You can't get any better than that, folks. I mean, that's Talladega. I mean, everybody knows that's Talladega. And you see it right here on your screen. Jonathan Wiley, Cody Sanderson. Like I said, friends in low places can't beat the friends, and you got to have friends at these super speedway tracks. But that's going to wrap up our broadcast for this evening. My name is Jacob Reeves. Have Wesley Outland announcing with me. Beside of me, Adam Flieger was on the controls. We will see you next week at Martinsville. This has been a production of the NASRA 360 Racing Network. We'll see you next Monday night at 9 o'clock at Martinsville. Be safe, and we'll see you then.